listening to this podcast right now. Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my God.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me, Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
This is a tasty burger.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Is butter a carb? Will you stop eating?
We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of Foodies Watching Movies. It's Season 2, Episode 13. As always, I'm your host, Nate, and as always, joining me is the lovely Veronica. Welcome back.
Well, thanks.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's just me and you today. We are sans AP and Lauren.
AP's on a mission today. He is, he was on a mission Saturday, I guess is the way we'll time travel speak this, because we're recording this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
AP is at AMC Theater all day. He got there at 10 this morning. He will leave at 10 o'clock tonight. He is watching 7 of the Oscar noms or 5 of the Oscar noms today, which include like 3 Billboards, Dunkirk, Darkest Hour.
And how much is all that costing him?
I don't know what he said it was. He said it wasn't bad though, because it's like they
you get like a pass or something.
They offer it as a special, and then the cool thing he was saying, and I think he said this to us on one of the podcasts, I'm pretty sure, that when
terrible memory.
Yeah, I know, me too. But when you go, you can bring your own snacks. You dress in like pajama type stuff because you're going to be there for a while. Get comfortable. And there's
you have a pajama party at the theater?
Kind of, yeah. And then there's
Sweet.
15-minute intermissions between the movies where you can stand up, pee, do whatever you got to do, and then go back into it. So it's like a special screening of all these Oscar movies.
Gotcha.
One of which we're going to be talking about today.
Finally.
A lot. I'm excited.
Finally, we get
Absolutely.
to talk about this movie.
So, and then also shout out to Lauren. She wasn't feeling the best today, and I was like, man,
we love you, Lauren.
Just stay home. Feel better. Like, don't get out in this cold,
She'll be joining us
shitty
for
weather.
the Oscar one.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a big Oscar special for 14. That's right. And that's going to be Oscar night. We're going to do a party, watch it, and then talk about it, and then head home. It's going to be a late, long, crazy night.
We're going up to AP's neck of the woods, right?
First time ever, yeah.
First time ever.
So that's pretty exciting, too, actually.
Road trip.
Because I've always said, like, man, we really want to come up and do a show, but, like, logistically, it's easier for one person to come down than for 3 or 4 of us to go up.
Right.
But then it's going to work out this time, and I think it's going to be pretty cool and a lot of fun. We watched a show on Netflix today that was cool that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we have a lot of little things we could talk about today.
I have some news.
Okay.
I mean, we have
new business.
We could start wherever you would like to start today. So where do you want to kick this thing off? Do we start at the movie we watched? Do we start with the show, food?
Well, I think... Okay.
We did have
gyros. We were talking about what we wanted to eat for lunch today when originally everybody was, we were planning on still having the podcast all together and whatnot. But we were talking about having tacos, like El Gueyro's tacos, which we talked about on the last time everybody was here. And we were thinking it would be funny play on names like Guillermo del Taco or El Gueyro's del Toro,
Yeah.
Because we watched The Shape of Water today, finally, for the first time.
Whoa.
Wow, that was a really good movie. Let's just start there.
Sure.
First, I guess I'll preface by saying we didn't end up having tacos. We ended up having gyros.
Yeah.
From another place that we really like that actually delivers to us.
Gueyromo.
How are you going to say it?
Gueyromo. I'll figure it out. I said it earlier.
Yeah, the taco one worked better.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Gueyro del Toro. Gyro.
Greek tacos. We had Greek tacos today.
Yeah, pretty much. We did have Greek tacos today. It was
the stuffed pepper in Hammond, Indiana. Pretty good.
Crazy shout out to that place. It was so flavorful and tasty. And
the fries were actually crispy and they were delivered, and that's a rare feat in these here parts.
They didn't forget the pop.
True. And we got plenty of extra feta, which is important.
It was my first time, I think, actually having stuffed pepper. Usually you guys order that carry out when I'm not home.
Yeah, because we never feel like driving. You're like our chauffeur.
Of course.
We're all up here.
Well, I mean, that's just how it goes. I like driving you guys around. So, we decided to go with the gyros today. And you've had them before from there, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of
consistently good.
You have a learned opinion. What do you think of the of the gyros from the stuffed pepper?
I like them. I think they're pretty good. The pitas are always like warm and toasty. I love how they put everything together in their little carry-out boxes. Everything's neat and tidy and orderly, which I appreciate because I'm a freak. And the one thing that I would change is I'm not a big red pepper fan or red onion fan, just because it gives me heartburn. I mean, I like the flavor, I like the spiciness, I like the crunch, but I get like mad heartburn.
The after effect is just like, God,
if I was gonna put onions on my ears, I'd want them to be like Vidalia onions.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, but they'd have to be raw.
I'd love to go that route. We had the fries, and there was some hummus, and
and the seasoned fries were so good and crispy.
And then we put that. Have we talked about the Frank's Red Hot sauce on the show yet?
I don't know. I can't remember. I have a terrible memory.
So
we've established that
the honey sriracha, or not?
No, it's garlic.
It's honey garlic hot sauce.
I'll get it out of the fridge.
You get it out of the fridge. I'll keep discussing. So, anyways, we use this sauce on like everything. It's the most multi-purpose. It is the blood type O of hot sauces because it goes with everything. Stinging honey garlic hot sauce from Red Hot.
Oh my God, it'll change your life.
And we've
put that shit on everything.
We've only had this bottle, I want to say 2.5 weeks, and we're halfway through it.
Yeah.
So it literally goes with everything. Chicken,
the chicken was really good.
Rice goes with it.
We dipped our French fries in it today.
French fries were delicious.
It has like it could be like Asian. It could be it could be anything. It's the perfect condiment.
It really is. And we also have another sauce by these guys we haven't cracked open yet, which is the sweet and sour hot sauce.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried that one yet.
No, we haven't at all. It's still locked up with the seal on it. I've kind of been in the mode lately when I go to the store, and I don't know if this is something you do, but when I go to the grocery store, especially with how much I'm like into hot sauce now, if I see something that's cheap or something I know I'm going to like or something that was maybe featured on Hot Ones, I go and I get it because usually hot sauces are like $1.50.
Yeah.
Like, until you get to the really crazy specialty brand of hot sauce that are trying to murder your insides.
It's like a niche market. And let's talk about that for a second, because I had a horrible fucking experience with hot sauce last weekend.
Please recount the story.
I did this for you all, so you could all hear about how horrible it was.
You were a fucking champ.
Yeah.
So I guess
no hesitation. I just did it.
I guess I should kind of start the story and lead up to the part of the story where you jumped in and got crazy.
I didn't get crazy, but you can tell the story.
You did jump in and get crazy. I was not expecting that. That was like...
and I'll never fucking do it again. How about that?
No, it was a good thing. I'm just saying it was if I could give a letter better than A for effort, like, I don't know if you've played like a lot of Capcom games. When you do perfect, you get an S, not an A.
Does it look like I played a lot of Capcom games?
Yes. Actually, busted. You do, because you have like Street Fighter and stuff, Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
So anyways, we were down in Brando's neck of the woods to see Black Panther. We had the network meeting and all these things were going on. You and Sarah and I decided we were going to grab some food before we went and saw Black Panther.
Which was excellent, by the way.
The movie or the food?
The movie.
Both?
The food was good, but I couldn't taste it after what happened.
Okay, we're getting there. So we both ordered a split beer cheese pub sub sandwich thing.
Yeah, it was steak and beer cheese.
Firehouse
and,
sub.
like onions and shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, It was good.
It was really good.
It needed to be on a pretzel bun, though, Firehouse Subs, just saying.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that would be the one way to level up that sandwich.
Right.
Because it was close. It was almost like the perfect sandwich.
It was
but
almost
the bun
there.
was a little bit soggier than I think I would have liked it.
Right, because there was so much freaking sauce on it.
And
it needs a heavier,
the meat is
heavier
really
bun.
heavy and
pretzel bun all the way.
Exactly. So we're sitting there eating, and I was probably maybe 3 or 4 bites, 3/4 of the way done with my sandwich.
Yeah.
Because I take big bites.
Yes, you do.
And I looked over, and the cool thing about when you go to Firehouse Subs is they have a counter of hot sauce.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, come try these hot sauces.
That's nice.
And they don't just
you have a select variety of hot sauce.
And they don't blind bag you, right? They actually number them so you can know how fucked up you're about to get.
Right.
And it's like 1 to 10. So I always when we go to Firehouse, I always look for the 10s, and I try
I thought
whatever.
you were going to make a Spinal Tap joke and say 11.
Oh, well, they don't have an 11, but I really wish they did. But they probably would have to, make people sign waivers at that point. And they get their limit of hot sauce, which maybe they peaked their limit with what happened. But anyways, so I look over, and I see a 10, and I'm like, oh, I have to try this 10. And I run over, and I don't remember what the sauce was. It was just some new hot sauce I'd not even ever heard of. Hold on. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to try this. And as I'm looking at this bottle of hot sauce, my eye catches another 10. But I immediately know the hot sauce and desperately need to have it in my life because it's the second hottest sauce on Hot Ones. It's my favorite Mad Dog 357. I have had the Mad Dog 357 Silver Label, which is 750,000 Scoville units. This hot sauce is 357,000 Scoville units. That's why it's Mad Dog 357, right?
Correct.
So I, of course, bring it over, and I was like, oh, my God, you guys, you'll never believe what I found here.
In the wild.
In the wild. Here's Mad Dog 357.
And this is from Hot Ones, First We Feast show that we like to watch about
on
hot
YouTube,
wings. Yeah.
which actually featured, interestingly enough, here's a weird correlation.
Oh, yeah,
Michael B. Jordan was
yeah.
the guest on this past episode last week. Of course, there'll be a new
Check it out
episode
on YouTube. It's pretty funny.
every Thursday, absolutely. So we go and we
get the 357.
I picked the Mad Dog 357, and I just put a decent dab on my plate thing, whatever foil, whatever the fuck parchment paper thing it was.
Your plate.
And I dip my sandwich, and I go for it. And there's still a sizable amount of sauce. And you just dipped with no hesitation.
That was stupid.
Wow. I was so impressed. Legitimately, I was like, holy shit, she does not realize what she got into. Because I was already deep in it at that point. And I was like, oh, she's not about to have a fun time.
No, and I didn't. I did it because I wasn't thinking. I was just like, Mad Dog 357. I watch Hot Ones. I'm just going to fucking try it. And I did. And I was like, okay, that was really stupid.
You did the Eddie Chung thing.
Well, I knew that it was going to be hot and that it was going to be horrible, but no fear.
You didn't respect the sauce.
No. Well,
now you do.
I don't respect that sauce. It's not fucking food. It's not real food. I don't respect that sauce. It's not. No, it was horrible. It burnt the whole side of my tongue. So I guess I should preface by saying, because I'm an idiot, I bit my tongue a lot while I sleep. And my tongue was kind of hurting anyway. And then it just lit it on fire,
Amplifies the pain, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, and then I couldn't taste the rest of my food, and it was still hurting by the time we got to the movie theater, 20 minutes later, half hour later. And, I didn't like it, and I won't do it again.
I loved it. I thought the flavor was great.
There was no flavor.
There was flavor.
Just
it smelled really good,
immediate
too.
stink. That was the thing. I smelled it because you were like, are you sure you want to do that? Because I just dunked my fucking sandwich in it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. It's no big deal. It smells good. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I started sweating. I started hating myself. And I was borderline starting to panic because I was thinking that it wasn't ever going to end. And the pop wasn't helping. My bready ass sandwich wasn't helping.
Yeah, you can't escape the sauce once it's in there. And the crazy thing
it was in there good.
You have to think though. You have to I have to give props to you because that is a legit fucking hot sauce.
Yeah, that shit was legit.
And let me tell you, the hot sauce is not like, it's one thing when it's in your mouth at first. The real pain starts once it goes down your throat because you feel the burn go down your throat.
And then my eyes started watering, my nose started running. I was sweating a lot, and it was a sizable amount of sauce, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just did a little tiny dab. Little dab will do ya.
I know, right?
But I was just thinking, fuck it, this is for the podcast. I'm going to do this for you guys, so I hope you appreciate my efforts. And you can see my happy face about it on our Instagram.
You were not very happy.
I was not happy.
I loved taking that picture of you.
I know you did.
It was just like
my misery.
The regret and the remorse. And then like sometimes.
No regrets.
Let me just say, and
if I had never done it, I'd still do it again.
This is not an episode of Butt Stuff Podcast every other Friday on the Journey into Comics Network, Cheap Pop. But I just want to say that once it gets in your digestive system too, like it made me feel awful for like 2 days.
Oh my god!
I had to make that joke. Yeah, Cheap Pop, and
Ridiculous reference.
And I did the plug all at once. It was just
Shout out to Butt Stuff Podcast.
They're great. We love them.
You, Joanna and Caitlin. You guys are the best.
Yeah, keep doing what you do over there, and laugh off the mic. If you're gonna laugh, pull back. That's all I can say for you guys. But
anyway, we were talking about hot sauces.
Oh yeah, we were.
I'm not a fan of them anymore. I'm not that I was really to begin with. I don't do well with spicy food.
But I think you could handle almost any sauce now. Now that you did that, like I call BS if you are saying like stuff is too spicy because you just did legit spicy.
Right,
like,
but I still have a threshold of what I enjoy. I'm
Totally.
I'm not the type of person that's gonna eat hot sauces like that just to say that I did, or like just to get more and more extreme. When I'm eating something, I'm intentionally choosing what I'm putting into my body. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. If I'm gonna be, if I have to die someday, I want to eat the shit that I know I'm gonna enjoy.
Totally. I eat hot sauces because I do enjoy them, and it's like when you try something as hot as Mad Dog 357 Silver Label, and it's almost 1 million Scovilles. And when I got into this game, 50,000 Scovilles scared me. And I'm like, wait a minute, 50,000 Scovilles, that's a joke. Like, Doyle, your hot sauce is just delicious. There's no heat behind it. It doesn't fuck me up.
Ooh, Doyle from the Misfits has an incredible hot sauce, which I'll vouch for.
I think
it's
that's
very
been
Italian.
I think we featured it on
I think
a
we did talk
Foodies
about
at
it before
one point,
when we first got the bottle of it when it came out originally. It was good.
A couple times over.
I'm not like a huge hot sauce fan, like I said, but there's some sauces that, you know, I wouldn't even qualify as like a hot sauce. You know?
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah, more of a condiment. Like this Frank's sting and garlic shit we've been eating a lot.
Yeah, and actually it's funny because
I wouldn't say it's a hot sauce.
I didn't realize that the motto, what does that motto say?
I put that shit on everything. Why do you think I've been saying it?
Because it does. It goes on everything. This is so good. It's a great sauce.
It is.
And it kind of has almost like a teriyaki, soy saucy
base.
But then
it could go, like I said, it could go Asian. It could go Thai. I mean, you could literally put it on
tacos,
anything.
You could put it on
We
steak.
put it on sticky rice. Remember that? That was good.
Yeah, that is super tasty.
With a little bit of like cracked pepper and some salt. That was yummy.
Absolutely. Well, let's get back to where we were going. So we ate the gyros
which
today.
I'm now like getting heartburn from.
You're like, oh, Lasai, why
totally
did you have
worth
red
it.
onions? Absolutely
totally worth it.
So we did that, and then you and I finished watching The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So as you'll probably remember when we were watching this movie, I kept saying like, okay, so it's like somebody tailor-made my perfect movie just for me. Like this movie is just for Veronica.
It had a little sprinkle of everything you love. I mean,
it was had, so rewarding to watch.
Time. It's set in what you assume is the 1950s timeline. You
actually never like 60s, mid-century America. You know. Oh my God, it was so good.
Absolutely, and
we're gonna be doing like some light spoilers. Yeah.
I would say there's mild spoilers because
if you haven't seen The Shape of Water, then you probably shouldn't listen for like the next few minutes.
I would say at least give us 20. Check in
at least 20 minutes.
Check in at 37 or so, and if we're still going on about it,
I don't know where this podcast is going. We're kind of off the cuff today.
It's weird when we lose the reins of our co-hosts because typically when the co-hosts are with us,
we're a little bit more organized.
We have to organize because
right.
they
you have to helm the ship with everyone.
Exactly. And then like now we're were just like, oh, we're vets. We can just roll through it. Let's just make it up on the sly.
I don't know about that.
I'm a vet. I can say, I guess. It's fair enough. I'm over 200 podcasts lifetime, so that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is really cool. I'm actually. Anyways. So this movie just had like, it has nostalgia. It's set in a 50s setting. It has the music of the 50s.
It's like it's the perfect little period piece movie, fairy tale.
Sally Hawkins plays a mute girl and does an amazing job throughout the entire movie. She's the star of the movie.
She was great.
Kills it. No, it makes me curious now. You think about our Oscar noms and who we picked. Mm-hmm. And I almost want to go back and put Sally Hawkins for Best Actress because she killed it.
She was great.
I mean, for her role, what she had to do, playing a mute character, and then to have...
A mute janitor.
What?
She's a mute janitor at this facility.
Yeah, this weird testing facility, government-based facility.
Immediately captures a merman.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Michael Shannon's in it. He's the villain. He's the real monster of the movie.
I tell you, he's
very convincing as a villain.
If they would have made him like that version of him, Zod in Superman, like in Man of Steel, I think that movie would have been even better.
It always comes back to heroes.
I don't mean to, but that's where I know Michael Shannon
That
from.
was another thing I found incredibly refreshing about watching this movie with you, is that it wasn't a goddamn superhero movie.
Sorry.
It was nothing against the superhero movies in the MCU and the DCU or whatever. I loved this movie because it was so, like, different from what I've been watching lately. It was the perfect little fairy tale. It was so, like, almost French in its, like, Amelie
You actually
comparison.
said that, too.
I was like, oh, my God, this is so Amelie, which I loved. The music was incredible. It was romantic. It was so sweet. It was bittersweet. It was sad and tragic and everything, and I loved it.
Epic.
Yeah, it was great. And like I said, it was really rewarding. The ending was, like... I couldn't have wrote this movie better myself if I were going to write this movie.
Guillermo del Toro, killing it as a director. He wrote it. He produced it. He directed it. Mm-hmm. I mean, he did everything.
This man is incredible. I know we've talked about Guillermo del Toro many times on this podcast, but I can't say enough how much I really love his work and his artistic vision and just the worlds that he can create and the escapism of it all and I don't know. I love it. I know I've mentioned before on the podcast, I think, when I went to LA a couple years ago, we went to the LACMA and saw the Guillermo del Toro exhibit they had. And it was so cool. Maybe I'll post some pictures.
You should post some retrospective pictures.
He has so much cool shit. It was all personally curated from his own collection of stuff, you know.
He has. And he's I mean, you know, it's cool because the whole movie is this story of captured beast in captivity, you know, what do you call that? Is it a Florence Nightingale? Is that what that was called? What is that called? No, that's not right. I'm trying to help me here. It's when Stockholm Syndrome, right? When like a patient falls in love with the thing.
With its captor?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, except this creature wasn't his captor.
No, I know. I'm saying it's similar to the fact that they were both kind of captive. Mm-hmm. In their own regards. Mm-hmm. She's stuck in this job.
Prisons in their own bodies.
Exactly. She's in this job and she can't get out of it and she's not looked at as an equal because she's mute.
I don't think any of that really bothered her. I think she just needed somebody to communicate with, like, as her equal. I don't think she needed... Yeah, this movie is so cool. It really makes you think about a lot of different things, which I've enjoying because... Watching a lot of the same movies over and over with the same formulas can get really repetitive and mind-numbing, and it doesn't really make you think. But this movie definitely does.
This movie has you on your toes the whole time because you think you kind of have an idea of what's probably going to happen.
Because we live in such a cynical, awful fucking world. And all of these... Sorry, I'm getting a little impassioned.
It's okay.
No, we were talking about this earlier, where I think that one of the things I liked about this movie was that it was rewarding to the viewer. Like, I got totally engrossed in this story. I wanted to know what was going to happen. I was just kept thinking, like, oh, please let it end how I want it to end. Please don't fuck me over. Yeah. Don't make me cry. Don't make me hate this movie. And they didn't. It ended exactly how I wanted it to end, and it was perfect.
Absolutely.
This was a masterful movie.
Let's go over a couple things. You already said the music was fantastic. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I love that there was dancing in this movie. And
there's a little musical number, tap dancing.
Yeah, yep. The stair tap dance thing was cool, and then she kind of like walked down the hallway and got into it herself, which is neat. You know,
people are weird.
There was like 30 seconds in a masturbation scene that I did not see coming.
I wasn't ready for that.
And that's not a pun. You know, like it was just like this movie was all over the place, but so together. Like there were so many things weaving in and out of this story. There's like a Russian story that could almost subversively.
A lot of different individual plots, but they all worked so perfect together to tell this overarching story. Like, and the character development for everything was like really on point. Like there was nothing I would complain about this movie.
So music is awesome. Cinematography was fantastic. How this thing was shot was so beautiful. The way using the lights and the darks and the colors, and then the really being vibrant about certain things, being able to also mix the world with the tone of water. And I don't mean that as like, but just like how they used water to effectively tell their story throughout.
Visually, this movie was beautiful.
They also trick us because the opening scene of the movie, I think, is planted to make you think that's how the movie's going to end.
Right.
And spoiler alert.
Well, it kind of does in a different roundabout kind of way, I suppose.
I guess that's up to interpretation, really, how it ends.
That's what's so cool about this movie.
The more I'm thinking about it, it's like, shit. Like, and you know, and interestingly enough, we should mention this too, because, and this is no slight against anything that happened on the last episode of Foodies, but AP brought up a very good point.
Okay.
As a show, Foodies Watching Movies, we need to sit down, look at the movies we've reviewed, and then actually decide where those reviews really, how they balance out. Because like Get Out is our shining star 5. Everybody gave it the same score of a perfect score. That means Princess Bride, no offense, can't be a perfect 5. It can be a 4.92.
It wasn't, though, was it?
Well, for you and Lauren, it was.
Yeah, but it wasn't for you and everybody
Correct.
else.
So it's going to balance average. But that's what I'm saying. We need to literally find where everything
you want to do the math?
Averages. At some point, not today on the show.
Well,
God, no.
That's your business, not mine.
I will, totally. You know me. I'm a statistician. That's what I do.
Yeah, you deal with that, and I won't.
Back to this movie. Richard, what was it?
Richard Jenkins.
Richard Jenkins, amazing.
He was so great.
Yeah, he plays a really cool role, and I loved his side story of trying to fall in love with the dude at the diner.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit in this movie, man.
And you just get snapped back to him. It's really, and that's another thing. You know what? Let me tell you that. That's
every
one
character has its own tragedy.
In some ways, I feel like Gueyromo am I saying that right?
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro wrote this almost as a surrealist piece on modern society, because it touches on so many themes. I mean, literally,
religion.
You have religion,
love,
sexual misconduct,
the male psyche.
Correct. You've got
intense stuff, very intense stuff.
But I mean, then you have like there was some racism in the movie that like brings you back into the
sexism
and I mean homophobic tendencies and stuff. It was like very
this
much.
Movie had everything,
and it
was
really
so tastefully done in every single way. Like, oh.
You never once are like, man, they're trying to say something, but really the whole time they're saying something.
Right.
Because
it's like
really
an allegory. That's why it's a perfect fairy tale.
Correct. Exactly. And that's one thing, at the very beginning of the movie, there's like a vocal track. I think it's Richard Jenkins speaking, and he's saying about this story, and he's talking about these characters that we haven't been introduced to yet.
Right.
And he mentions the monster that tried to destroy it all.
Right.
And you assume the monster, I did just at the very beginning, I assumed the monster was going to be the beast that you see in the merman. The
way they made that merman, which was played by Doug Jones, who's
awesome,
incredible.
Abe Sapien, Silver Surfer, he's done it all.
Yeah, everybody in the world has probably that watches movie has seen Doug Jones in something, whether you knew it or not.
Absolutely.
But he played the merman in this movie, and I thought they did such a great job of like making it like a handsome creature from the Black Lagoon. You know, like it was so like like that B Hollywood looking thing, but it was like
Practical
it was
effects.
so good. Yeah, the practical effects were incredible.
Through.
I loved that. I loved that it wasn't all like CGI.
It also had a hint of, even though this movie is set in the 50s, the creature, or 60s, the creature that Doug Jones portrays, he's also really futuristic too, because the way the light moves through him.
Yeah, he's got like bioluminescence. I don't know if that's necessarily futuristic, but because he's an amphibian, you know.
I guess that's true.
And like, there's bioluminescent fish in the ocean and whatnot.
That is true.
But he has like regenerative healing powers and all these things, and so cool. This was like Splash meets Amelie.
Meets Hellboy.
Meets
kinda.
Hellboy. Oh my God, yes, that's the perfect thing. It was Splash meets Amelie meets Hellboy.
Yeah, because there's some, the really monstery stuff from Hellboy, and man, and this movie is interesting too because it makes you. I think the thing I took away from this movie ultimately was like, at the end of the day, we're all people too. Like, it should no longer be like, you're a chick, I'm a dude. You like this, I like that, whatever. It should be, you're a person, I'm a person.
I'm a human, you're a fish.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's not really where I was going with it, but I was more saying that we as creatures connect on a deeper level.
Universal language of love.
Yeah, and that's really what this movie was about. So
yeah, it was very sweet. I loved it.
It was sweet. So you got to look at the actors. I thought the acting was great in this movie.
Michael Shannon was the villain, as I mentioned. He was so good on Boardwalk Empire, which you never watched.
No, I haven't.
We'll watch that at some point, because I never finished it.
Oh, okay.
It got a little
that
depressing.
has
Steve
Buscemi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some Buscemi.
Season 1 of Boardwalk Empire is where it's at, man. It's so good.
I'm trying to think here. Okay, so I
But
wanted
he
to
played the
ask
same kind of character.
Oh, Michael Shannon did?
Yeah, he always plays these really tortured, like, really male characters, where
Alpha.
I try to like understand that kind of masculine perspective of a man's man, and it's probably all coming from like his man's man father, and the religiousness of his characters when they're like villains is always so like, he's just so sure and so devout and so like self-fucking righteous,
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good actor.
He kills it. He absolutely did.
Yeah.
So I will ask it right out the gate, of all the different scenes and stuff that was happening in this movie, what one scene kind of stole it for you that you just like, you kind of just like think back and you're like, man, that was really cool when that was going on? Because there's a couple different things that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, there was a lot about this movie that I really enjoyed. I kind of want to talk about the things that I didn't enjoy.
Oh, sure. Are there a couple things?
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, I enjoyed almost everything about this movie, and I don't really want to talk about that because it was everything, and that would take forever.
Okay.
Every scene in this movie was great. There was a few things that
Didn't
I'm going to
vibe
complain
with you.
about only because of my sensibilities, but there is a lot of, like, Pan's Labyrinth level, like, blood and gore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually.
Like, and what I mean by that, I don't mean like an excessive amount or anything. I mean, it was like, when it happened, it was so like startling and like,
why do we have to?
gut-wrenching. I don't want to see that. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a couple moments like that too. And again, we said mild spoilers, so if you're this deep in, I'm not giving. They still have 6 minutes to not hear the spoilery stuff. So, of those scenes, we're gonna spoil in 3, 2, 1. There's a cat that gets its head eaten.
Yeah, Pandora gets her head eaten
by the creature, and he didn't know any better.
Yeah, that's sad. That was sad, but it was almost like played off as comic relief with Richard Jenkins'
a little
character.
bit.
Yeah, the scene I was referring to though was when Michael Shannon pulls his fucking fingers off.
Oh yeah, that was fucking brutal. So earlier in the movie, like probably 15 minutes into the movie, the creature bites off Michael Shannon's last 2 fingers,
which I was not expecting.
Ring. And so that's kind of a theme, is that they find him and they try to sew him back on, but they're not really taken to his body. They're turning darker colors.
They're getting
throughout
blacker.
the movie.
They're infecting him. They're making him sick.
They're smelling bad.
They're
like,
smelling bad.
Like all the things that are gross.
And he uses it as an intimidation method and just pulls him right off.
He does.
And you know, it's like, okay, this guy is not coming back from this.
Unfucking hinged.
And then the movie just gets, predictably crazy.
But unpredictably crazy too, because the things that were happening, like, okay, there were some of those things that I thought, oh, that's how it's going to go down. Like, oh shit, Murdude took a couple,
Yeah, but they like planted and throughout the movie the
Correct.
Easter eggs of like lulling you into this sense of security, so you're like revved up for something awful to happen, but then when the movie ends just the way you want it to, it's like, oh, all right, I love this movie.
Yeah, it was absolutely astonishing. So far, we've only seen 2 of the Oscar nom movies. We're trying to catch up before the official thing.
Yeah, we suck.
At least Best Picture. We want to try to get as many of those down before the official Oscars.
Life is busy.
It is. It's very busy, especially running a network and having a band and having a life and kid and all these things we do. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world, Yep. So overall, we got to rate this movie at some point. And I think I've been holding off. Also, I wanted to mention the gore, the unhinged gore that was out of nowhere. Was that the only thing that you found flawed in the movie, which was just more of a made you feel uncomfortable in the movie?
Yeah. And you know what? It didn't even really make me feel uncomfortable. It's like, because I can handle those kind of movies, I like horror movies. I'm in a horror punk band.
Absolutely.
I can handle it. It's just the juxtaposition between, like, the very Frenchness of what I was watching, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking hole in a dude's cheek, and whoo.
Oh, yeah.
It was just unsettling. Like, oh, ew, excessive. But I guess you need it,
You do, because it makes the sweetness of the story even better when it's drenched
That's
in
why
that,
it's Gueyromo del Toro.
Exactly.
Right.
It's drenched in that reality and that darkness and that, like, life is pain, essentially. And then it evolves and it levels itself up to be this bigger story. So when you see the bigger picture of the story, those little dark moments, while they suck, like, they made the end, the payoff, so worth it that you're like, oh.
It was very satisfying
Fuck
movie.
Yeah. Everybody got their just desserts, I think.
I think that it ended, it was beautiful. It ended exactly how I wanted it to. And I was like, I'm not going to cry during this movie, blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, the last scene and the poem that was being voiced over, I was like, God damn it.
Right in the feels.
I'm getting all verklempt.
Same, yeah. It hit you, too. Cause
yeah,
it's
it hit
like,
me. It was good.
Because, like, they make this perfect moment at the end of the movie, and it's weird because...
I don't like when movies make me feel.
It's so crazy because everyone's seen the end of the movie, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. I mean...
Yeah.
It's
sweet.
So
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, well, I mean, we're close, but we still have to give it a rating. You have to rate it on a 5 stars.
There was something else I wanted to mention that
Sure.
I found pertinent. We were looking online after we watched this movie, and I guess they're going to be doing a novelization of this movie. Guillermo del Toro is co-writing it with somebody else. I can't remember who. I don't remember. But it's supposed to be released.
It came out yesterday. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
So it's topical. The Shape of Water book came out yesterday, and now we're doing this podcast.
Okay, it worked out.
But we didn't plan it that way.
Well, hey.
It did. It just worked out that way. So we keep skirting around it, girl.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
I went for it. I did it. I said it.
But we do it on 5-star review here, so I don't know how you're doing that.
I thought we do pizza slices.
We do 5 slices of pizza, yeah.
Okay, I'll give it 5 out of 5 pizza slices.
Okay, it stands up to Get Out.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. Which one do you like better?
I liked The Shape of Water better.
I knew you would say that because it was tailor-made for you.
And what's interesting is there was an actor in both of those movies.
Really?
That was in this. Yeah, the wasn't the guy from the dad from Get Out one of the scientists in The Shape of Water?
I don't think so. Do you still have that on your thing? I'm not sure. That was what was his name? What is that?
Maybe he just looked a lot like him because I definitely didn't research that.
See, I thought that the dude that you ended up saying was Richard Jenkins was the dad from Get Out.
No.
Because at first he kind of looks the same.
Not that guy.
I know.
This fucking guy. Hold on. Let me pull up his thing.
Did you find him?
I think so. Well,
that's good.
It's the guy from Billy Madison, right?
I don't know.
Well, now I'm confused. He just looks a lot like him. I'm trying to,
No, that's not the same guy. That guy is not old enough.
That's not him.
No, that's... I don't know. That's weird.
I have no idea.
Maybe we just tricked ourselves into thinking we saw him.
Maybe I did.
It happens.
Whatever.
Okay, so you're giving it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
And it's everything you wanted.
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. I give it a 5 out of 5 pizza slices.
Does that mean this is a perfect House of Pizza 5-star pizza slice pizza, since it was tailor-made for you, and House of Pizza is tailor-made for you.
Yes, and we did have that yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was kind of perfect.
Hey, yeah, that is kind of perfect. And that just leads us right into, oh, hey, I have to give my review too,
you
though.
didn't do that yet. How many pizza slices?
I'm going to be a little bit of a stickler here and give it a 5.25 pizza slices because I liked it that much. It was really, really good. I'm going to break the rules here a little bit and go outside the bounds. Because
are you just going to say that it was a 5 out of 5 pizza slice, but it was a supreme?
Yeah, pretty much. Because
it had
it's like,
all the toppings you wanted.
It did. And
I know, right?
And it didn't leave me wanting anything more. Like, I could go watch that movie a third and fourth and fifth time and be cool every time. Like, yes, that's what I want to see. Mm-hmm. Even if there's some rough stuff you got to get through. Mm-hmm. And there's also a scene that we almost absolutely expected to happen that actually never. They plant a seed of something like really dark going on with Michael Shannon and Eliza's character.
Oh yeah,
and they never pay it off, and that's so good.
Yeah,
like she gets
it was
again
just these threats to develop his character and the tension between them.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And can I just say how much I loved Octavia Spencer in this movie?
Yeah, she killed it as well.
So great.
She was absolutely amazing, as she always is. I mean, she's a Oscar-winning actress, so you know she's gonna.
This
kill
movie is nominated for so many Oscars. Like, didn't you say like 12?
I'm pretty sure it's 12 or 15. It's up there. It's like in
there.
Almost every category there's something. Richard Jenkins for Best Supporting.
I picked it for a lot of our Oscar picks. I can't remember how many exactly.
Sally Hawkins. Actually, if you keep talking, I can pull up our list. They're right there. I can just.
Do you want me to just grab them since they're right by
They're
me?
under the Journey into Comic signs, I do believe. You didn't have to grab up. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Just take it.
Aha! I found it. So we'll pull up you and I's. Okay, so here I'll just name off what categories has The Shape of Water in it.
Okay.
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography.
I think it'll win for that.
Best Costume Design, Best Sound Editing, Best Film Editing.
I
Best
think it's going to be a sweep.
Production Design. Let's see.
I hope I picked it for Best Production Design.
We'll look in a second.
Everything was so perfectly detailed.
Best Sound Mixing. And Best Original Score.
Ooh, yeah.
And just to go to your
We're going to need
here,
to finish watching these Oscar-nominated movies just so I can have an appropriate opinion. Because as it is now, after seeing how great that movie was, I want to change all my answers to that.
You're like, shit, yeah. I need that. Let's see. I picked Guillermo del Toro for Best Director, yeah, for sure. And I'm kind of all over the place here because there's so many different people that could win. I do want to change Best Actress to Sally Hawkins, though.
Who did you originally pick?
Saoirse Ronan. That's Saoirse with an S.
I remember.
Not Saoirse with a C.
Yeah. Well,
and
I think it was a perfect movie, and it was great. I know I throw the word perfect out there a lot, but it's only because I mean it.
I feel that. You picked Shape of Water for Best Director. You picked it just for that, it looks like.
Well, I'm going to be amending my choices.
No, you picked it for Best Film Editing, as well as Best Costume Design, as well as Best Score. So you don't have to change all of them.
I want to change Production Design. What did I pick?
Production Design?
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049.
Ooh.
But that's like got that super futuristic thing about it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just going to have to watch all these freaking movies now and find out.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. So I gave that a 5.25 pizza slices. You gave it a 5, or I gave it 5 with Supreme.
It was a Supreme.
Which season 3 of Foodies, we're changing the way we rate things because we're going to do it more.
Are we?
Yeah, I think so. Because I want it to be...
Are we, or you just want to?
I do. I want to. Maybe we won't.
I don't know. I like talking about pizza.
Of course we like talking about pizza. And that brings us to our next thing, because you and I watched a documentary Netflix show series fucking thingamabob called Ugly Delicious.
Yeah, you decided that we needed to watch this episode today, and I'm so glad you did.
Over
I'd never
gyros.
heard of it. Yeah, over gyros. I wish it was over pizza, though. After watching that, I was like so inspired to make my own damn pizzas.
But there were 3 pizza chefs, or 2 pizza chefs and a friend of the chefs, I guess.
I don't know.
And Aziz Ansari's in it, and there's like they go all around and they discuss different pizzas, try different pizzas.
But every episode of the show is a different theme. Like the
Different
next
food.
one up was tacos. Like we're definitely going to need to watch the rest of this series and find out what it's about.
What we should do
but
is
the pizza episode was good.
What we should do is make Lauren and AP watch the first one, and then we'll all be planned to have watched the second one, and we can just like review them on each.
Or we could just pick an episode each and review it or talk about it.
Oh well, yeah,
just
that's
to bring
true.
the pertinent information, you know.
That's true.
This episode was about pizza, which I thoroughly enjoyed, as everyone probably knows by now. Pizza is my jam.
You knew facts about pizza that I was like, "What? Is that real?" And then they were like, as you were saying the facts, the TV would then spout the thing, and I was like, "What the fuck? How do you know that?"
Well, little known secret, I've always wanted to have my own pizzeria. Like, I love cooking. I love food. I love food preparation. I didn't love working in a restaurant as a short order cook, but I think if it was just pizzas and it was one thing that I could do really, really well, I would love to do that. Maybe someday. But, you know, that being said, I consider myself a pizza connoisseur, and I love watching documentaries about pizza. Like Pizza Paradise was my favorite when that was on like 10 years ago.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it was just a special on, I think it was like the Cooking Channel or something, and it was just like the history of pizza, and then they did like a tour of all the different pizzerias on the East Coast and like talked about them, like where pizza originated from originally and all these cool facts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of my friends and I actually like plotted out a pizza tour that we wanted to do like right before college that we never ended up going on.
Because where's allegedly the best pizza?
Well,
in America?
It depends on who you ask, but a lot of people will say New Haven, Connecticut. Like Connecticut style pizza is allegedly the best. And then you've got like the purists that say the New York style or the Neapolitan pizzas are where it's at.
Chicagoans.
And then you got the Chicagoans, us region rats, that say the deep dish is the best. Even though I disagree, I prefer New York style.
Pizza casserole is my jam.
Ugh, yeah.
See, my thing is,
I don't like all that.
See, we haven't had Arnello's yet. You and I need to eat Arnello's so you can try it, because an Arnello's pizza with pineapple and bacon, one slice, first of all, is...
You and your bacon. I can't stand bacon on pizza. It's
Why
like
not?
my least favorite topping.
Why? It's so
get
good. It's so good.
I hate bacon on pizza.
But no, what we always get is cheese pizza. When we get toppings,
when
I
get
once
pizza,
in a while say
cheese.
I want to have bacon.
I like going to like... When I go out to get pizza, I love getting toppings on pizza. But if I'm going to order myself a pizza at home, it's going to be a extra large cheese pizza from House of Pizza.
Keeping it basic, yeah.
Yeah, keeping it real, man. That was my jam. That's what I've been eating like every week for 25 years.
Rumor has it, by the way, I don't know if you saw this in the group or not, but the rumor has it that when we go up for the Oscar night, we will be eating Lou Malnati's versus another deep dish pizzeria.
Yeah. AP had the genius idea.
Damn, he is
of
super
doing
smart.
Some pizzas. Yeah, I've never tried Luminati's, and I've had Gino's East. He suggested that, and
I've had neither.
Gino's
so.
East is good. I mean, you know, whatever. I'm not a big deep dish fan.
Here's what I'm going to suggest. Live on the podcast so it can be recorded, at least for me, because I've never tried either. I would like to blind taste test them without knowing which is which and decide which one is better.
We can do a blind taste
So
test.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Science.
Yeah, and we can maybe film it or something on something and then make
that'd
it
be
like
fun.
Patreon special. I'll do a blind taste test challenge and see if I can, first of all, determine which one I like better, and then after determining which one tastes better, see if I can guess who is who.
That would be fun. That would be a good Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody else, if you wanted to participate in that, or if Lauren or AP wants to as well. I absolutely am all for all of you guys doing it, but just
I'll be the
depending
judge,
Okay.
so that way I can have every piece and not be like questioned about it.
And you can, you know what, you can be the judge, and then you can also delve out the slices to us.
Yeah,
and
I'll be the moderator.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
That's a good job for me, because you know how, like, I know this isn't a game, so there's no reason to be competitive.
You're super competitive,
But I
though.
get so competitive about everything. everything. Like,
Yeah.
I have to monitor my activities so that way I don't unintentionally get sucked into a competition and then lose my shit.
And get super angry.
And get mad.
Like when we were doing a puzzle. I was like, I want to put this piece in, and you like...
No, because the puzzle was separated into quadrants. We were all sitting in different quadrants, but you kept doing my quadrant.
I was trying to be helpful.
I know, but like you had your own section you could have been working on that whole time, but you kept, and then I would move because you kept doing my quadrants. I was like, okay, I'll go to a different quadrant, and then you did my quadrant again, and I was like, God damn it, I just wanted to do one piece by myself.
It's really funny. It just makes me laugh.
Oh, but it's whatever.
See, even now you're being competitive about it. Like you went back there.
No, I'm just like, I know.
It's so funny.
Shut up.
But anyways, back to this show. I want to talk to you about this show that we watched and get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Did you like the style of this show, going through and trying all different things they had?
Yeah, I like the style of the show. I thought the people that were doing the show, like the hosts, I liked that they owned the fact that they were like pretentious assholes.
Kind of.
And
yeah.
it was funny. Like, I enjoyed the show a lot. Like, they were really real about their opinions and why they have them, and they know that they're like... I liked that these people knew who they were.
And also another thing that's great about this thing was that they had some cool like juxtaposition where one of the dudes ended up trying to learn how to like work at Pizza Hut or at Domino's.
Yeah.
And the other two dudes were at
they
the
wanted
mecca
to get the full
of
pizza immersion experience. So some of them went to like Italy. Some of them apparently tried to train at Domino's for just a day, and then he got sick of it and was like, fuck this, I'm done. As a former pizza delivery driver myself, I can attest that it is not fun. Never worked for Domino's.
Well, it got a little heated also because the dude who worked... Oh, sorry, I don't mean to yawn, folks. Attack of the Yawns here. Revenge of the Yawns, but...
yeah, it's been a long day.
I don't mean to overspeak this, but like the dude working for Pizza Hut was like, Pizza Hut or Domino's. I keep doing that. Why do I do that? But Domino's, the dude kept saying, it's the greatest pizza. And then he said that
because he doesn't want to lose his job.
But then he also said that he went to Italy and tried pizzas, and he said hands down he could make a better pizza than anyone in Italy.
And I was like, dude, you're the fucking delivery driver.
Like, ninja, all you're doing is delivering the pizza.
You're not making pizzas. Maybe the reason you keep thinking about Pizza Hut is because we recently had Domino's last weekend, and we ordered the pan style pizza, which I don't typically ever do because I like thin crust. But we got the pan pizza, and it tasted exactly like old school 90s Pizza Hut pizza.
That's a life hack right there, folks.
Oh, man, it was tasty.
Yeah, the first time I had the newer pan style pizza from Domino's, I was like,
it tasted
shit.
exactly like how Pizza Hut used to taste in the 90s before it got all shitty.
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy thing. It did change.
Pizza Hut doesn't taste the same as it did when I was a
kid.
kid.
If you think about the Book It era to now.
Ooh, the Book It era. The personal pan pizza rewards for reading. Yeah. That was my jam.
I read the fuck out of books to get free pizza.
Yeah, me too. We'd always go to the library. My mom would take me, and I would just get book after book after book just so I could get free pizzas.
Well, I guess that's good that you're going to be at some point doing the show literature in your future. You know,
oh yeah,
you might be guest hosting or doing something crazy like that. And we'll be talking about that down the road. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
But back to this show, like it made me just realize that one of the hosts said it best, and he said, "I would rather take and be inspired by something and do my own riff on that than do it exactly how the ingredients say."
Yeah, like that really resonated with you, I think, because you're like the master of the chopped kitchen.
Well, not only just the idea of a chopped kitchen, but I will look at a recipe and go, what don't I fucking like? And what can I do that I would do?
Yeah, like when you made those chicken and waffles the other day.
Yes.
That was not the recipe. Oh, and you made us pancakes the other day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We didn't have the right recipe. And
there's a lot of food news to catch up on.
You have a lot of make it work moments in the kitchen, and you always do.
Yeah, you typically have to, but I guess we do have to reflect a little bit on Valentine's Day. I made you guys some delicious chicken and waffles, deep fried, with homemade waffles that were made from scratch with a batter. And actually, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I made them in the blender.
I saw the blender.
Because the
after.
recipe actually said, like, you could make this in the blender. And I was like, how the hell does that work?
Sarah's like, I really hope he doesn't Randy Marsh the shit out of that kitchen.
Just mess everywhere
Yeah.
and wrecked. Cream free, cafeteria free. No, but I was in here cooking, and I wanted to do the waffles. And I was like, I'm doing it in the fucking blender. Like, that's how you do it, right? That's what the thing said. And I just, not even in the right frame of mind, dumped all the flour in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, did it all blow up in your face?
No, it didn't blow up in my face. It just congealed before I could stir it into the... I didn't slowly mix it in.
Oh,
So the egg just got overwhelmed with all this dough, so I had to, like, work it for, like, a solid couple minutes. But I got it to work. I thought they tasted really good.
That's why I always just use a hand mixer.
I also totally fucked up the first waffle I did because I forgot how to use our waffle iron. What you do is you have it on, right? And you keep the clamshell closed until the light turns green. And then you open it, you fill it, and then close it. I turned it on, waited for what I thought was like 5 minutes. It seemed hot as fuck.
It wasn't ready.
It wasn't ready, so the first one was mushy and gross. And then I did a redo, and it was fine. And shockingly enough, used a little bit of this Frank's Red Hot sauce during that on some of those chicken, and it was delicious, and obviously maple syrup and whatnot. So anyways, we went to Mike and Joanna's for like that Black Panther network meeting, whatever. You know, we were down there. We decided we were going to stay over a couple days, visit and party and whatnot.
For Joanna's birthday.
For her birthday, correct. And Monday morning rolls around. Black Panther review had happened. I almost died on hot sauce. Like, everything was happening, and we got up Monday, and it was like, everyone was kind of like, God, we're hungry. We're hungry. Everybody kept going, hungry, hungry.
Yeah, we needed a birthday brunch.
And the Norrises were like, we have stuff. And I was like, fuck it, I'll cook. So I made pancakes, and I made bacon.
Burnt bacon.
Slightly cooked crispy bacon.
Nate and I have a very differing opinion about what
good bacon is.
Good bacon is.
Yeah, and I don't like chewy bacon.
And I don't like burnt bacon.
I don't
like
it
chewy
either.
bacon either. I like it the way I like it.
I like it perfectly crisp.
I like it not crispy, but not chewy. Like, right at the threshold where...
It's crunchy, kind of?
No, it's still chewy, but not, like, rubbery. Like,
Weird.
it's still... How I make bacon is how I like bacon.
Anyways.
I make you bacon. You know what it's supposed to be like. And then I said, why don't you just take out, like, 2 pieces of bacon for me before you, take the rest of it out, so that way I can get the kind of bacon I like, and then your bacon can be crispy. And then it got a little burnt.
Well, I thought that it needed about a minute because it looked totally raw.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it probably just needs about another minute to cook, and it'll get itself right where it needs to be. And I let it in for the minute, but the minute just cooked it too much. It probably was only like a 25-second window that it needed to be in, but I digress. You helped.
It's okay. It's just bacon.
You helped, though, because you helped make the scrambled eggs.
Yes, I made the eggs.
You made a very old-school American diner scrambled egg with... I
did. I went diner style and did I thought they tasted good.
I thought so, too.
Yeah, I, folded them like you'd see at, a diner or a Denny's or something. Typically, I make them really light and fluffy and, cloud-like. But this time I went old school, and it was a nice change of pace. And we covered them in American cheese slices.
Yeah.
True Americans.
It was... It was delicious. That meal overall was like, yes, this is what I want to have for breakfast. Yeah. And, of course, then we had to, wrap it up and get going. But those are some of the food things I've been making as of late, and I've been trying to just, up my game, try something new, just go, oh, I've never made chicken and waffles. I can do it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't
just getting inspired by different foods and not intimidated and just making it authentically you.
I've also been making a metric F ton of cookies.
Yeah, you have, and they turned out really good.
You were very happy with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
the Reese's peanut butter chocolate chip cookies were particularly delicious.
Yeah, I found this recipe online, and I had to tweak it a little bit because, again, sometimes the recipe's not exactly how you like it. And I know with baking, it's still a science, so you kind of got to follow most of the rules. But
correct. Measurements, anyway.
But here's the thing, and that's true. But, with the things you have to follow, it's all in the base ingredients. All the bonus shit that's not the dough,
right?
You
Flavors,
can fludge.
profiles,
exactly. Yeah. So the original recipe called for chopped nuts. I'm like, chopped nuts in a chocolate chip cookie? who are these fucking people? Like, why would you do that ever?
I'm sure lots of people like that. I don't.
It's not my jam. It never has been.
It's never been my jam.
I like peanuts and stuff and whatnot.
I don't like nuts.
But I was like, well, I don't want to do that, but I like peanut butter. Oh, I like peanut butter cups. Oh, they have those Reese's peanut butter cup chips. So I was like, that's what we're going to do. Home run, made them delicious.
Yeah, just keep on the candy bar theme for cookies, and I'll be pleased every time.
Okay, sure. We'll keep going that route. So moving on from the pizza documentary and what has been fooded lately between us, and have we eaten anywhere cool lately or done anything? I'm trying to remember if we've been out to anything of
really.
note. Not particularly.
No.
I mean, I think that is this part of the episode, because we can move into a little bit of movie news we have now, and there's some stuff. Interesting to know, AP has Movie Pass for even cheaper than $10 now.
Yeah, he was letting the group know about that earlier.
He's like, hey guys, my Movie Pass is $7.50, and I was like, what the fuck?
We're still not affiliated with Movie Pass. I just wanted to throw that out there now.
Still trying to get sponsorship.
Just still really psyched about it, and no, we're not.
So, yes, I am. I'm trying to get sponsorship. Yes, we are, legitimately. Like, I'm going to get Movie Pass to sponsor the network. Why breaking even on tickets is good enough for Movie Pass. Movie Pass has been around for several years. It's only been over the past several months that subscription streaming service has become a bigger deal. The subscription streaming service has become a bigger deal. This is mostly attributed to the fact that it's only $10. And then now, with special deals, you can actually get it for $7.95 or lower. How does MoviePass plan to make money? Their CEO, Mitch Lowe, recently explained on the Recode podcast, noting, our goal is to get to break even with the subscription and the cost of our goods. Why are you laughing? Oh no, I killed Veronica. She's over here dying right now. I don't know what happened.
Oh my god.
What did I miss? Did I say something funny?
So you're reading this, and just your face when you realize that MoviePass had already talked to another podcast.
At all, just any podcast.
Like, he just literally froze and stopped for a half a second, and I saw rage flash, like, what the fuck? And then he just kept going like nothing happened, and it just got me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you. I
just saw your network mind go, God damn it.
No, but it's fine, because it's all good now. But
I'm sorry, that was funny. You were reading something about MoviePass.
Yeah, so I was just reading this quote.
What's your site? What is this? Who are
this
you sourcing?
Is from Cinema Blend.
Okay.
They're writing this, talking about Mitch Lowe, who was on a podcast, says our goal is to get to break even with the subscriptions and the cost of goods. Then we have all these different ways we make your life better as a customer. We know how to market films to you. You know, the studios are incredibly inefficient the way they market small films. Over the last 3 weeks, we brought 1 in every 19 movie tickets in the country. But when we promote a film, we're buying 1 in 10, so we're lifting. These are for subjective $50 million box office films. These studios are paying us to be more efficient marketers of their films.
Interesting.
So they're essentially marketing the movies.
Right.
That's super smart. Hey, we'll market your movies. The movies will be cheaper. You want us to market your movies because
everybody wins.
People are gonna want to go see The Shape of Water in theaters. You know, you can do that with MoviePass for $10. It's still in theaters. So
that's a very good practice plug, Nate.
Yeah. So the company is hoping for multiple revenue streams to get MoviePass into the black. First and foremost, the subscription service needs to have a lot of subscribers, which it's working on. Over 2 million. We talked about that last time. Mm-hmm. The company is projecting it will be over 3 million subscribers by August. And some of those subscribers don't see a lot of movies every month, and a lot of them only see one occasionally, or none, meaning the company hopes to break even off the money it's paying out for people to see the movies.
Right.
Then, per Mitch Lowe, it seems other revenue streams, including deals with studio to promote movies and make a little extra chunk of change. He noted, deals have already been brokered with movies like Lady Bird, the new Maze Runner movie. That was actually like a tongue twister. The new Maze Runner movie. Yeah, it got me. Among others. In addition to previously monetizing consumer data has been... What is that word? Bandied? About as a potential source of revenue for the company. Bandied? What is that word? Bandied about? Who says that?
Clearly somebody in this article.
Here's the trick. 89% of American moviegoers only go to 4 or 5 movies a year. Okay? When they join,
when movies are so expensive, what do they expect?
Exactly. And he says when they join MoviePass, they double their consumption and go to about 10 a year. That's a little bit less than 1 a month. They balance out to 11% of the population that goes 18 times before joining MoviePass and then after go 3 times a month. It works out. Over time, it actually works out to be about 1 movie per month per subscriber.
Right, and where they get you is that every time you go to these stinking movies, you're going to have to pay money for concessions, and so the theater's still making money.
No, you don't. You don't have to pay for
concessions. Well, you don't have to, but it's more likely that you will because who doesn't like to have a snack or a drink in the theater?
Correct. People who don't wear coats to the movies.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't want to promote anything.
So if you were wondering how the numbers are working out so far, Lowe's comments do give you some indication of people movie watching behavior since joining MoviePass service. All in all, MoviePass is not in its infancy. The new price model and the new price model is, and it should be interesting to see how it all shakes out on the coming months and even years, especially considering that the company has a shaky relationship with some major theaters. If the company isn't making money yet, it will eventually need to, and the service seems to be exploring multiple ways to do that. So buy a ticket or buy a MoviePass.
I'm still thinking about buying a MoviePass.
I think that,
and yeah, why not?
And I think
have a lot of movies coming up we want to see.
And I think the way to do that too is just to buy the year, $90 for the whole year. I mean, you're gonna if you buy it out every month by month, $10 comes out. That's $120. If you buy the $90 thing, you're saving on 3 months you're getting 3 free months of MoviePass essentially for buy it now. Mm-hmm. So that's something to think about, folks. And again, we are not officially affiliated yet with MoviePass yet.
Stop talking about it now.
Anyways, MoviePass is going to get even cheaper, at least for Costco users. We said that. MoviePass dropped from $30 a month to $9.95. And now, and it also offers a 12-month subscription for $89.95. But then, if you come to Costco, the Costco deal makes it even cheaper, making it holy shit. I guess interesting. Okay.
What are we going to need to get Costco cards now?
I don't know. Costco members will actually be okay. Hold on. It says, at that price, it becomes a deal even if you go to only matinee shows. The Costco deal is essentially the same as the standard annual subscription, but the offer for Fandor access as well to sweeten the deal. So Fandor
the hell is that?
Is a streaming service. It's got a solid catalog of over 5,000 films that mostly focus on documentaries, independent and international films. A quick glance at what's offered reveals great films like Mad Max, Strictly Ballroom, and Carrie.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Among others, while a lot of what Fandor offers looks to be smaller films that fans might not be as familiar with, that's sort of the beauty of the deal. If you're going to pick up the MoviePass annually anyways, it gives you access to Fandor for essentially free if you go to Costco.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something right now.
Sure.
I don't give a shit about what Fandor is. I don't know what that is. It's
a streaming service like
Netflix.
Netflix.
I know
sorry.
that. You said that, but my point is that when Netflix was first a thing, like, I loved having like VHS tapes, and then DVDs became a thing, and so then eventually I grew to love DVDs. And then when Netflix was around, I was like, oh, I hate having to wait for my DVDs like in the mail. And then they did the streaming thing, and I was like, oh my God, this is dope, but all these movies suck, there's nothing good. And now like Netflix and Hulu and all these streaming services are more commonplace. Like, you don't need another one, you know what I mean?
I do. And it looks like there's like 1 million.
Speaking of Netflix, though, there was something new that we were going to try talking about on our show. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So what we're going to do here, we're the last day of February right now. So if you're listening on release day, it's February 28th. Tomorrow's the 1st of March, folks. We're already in the spring month. Spring will have sprung this month.
Great.
Or next month, which is tomorrow. It's weird
Can
how
we
that
stop
works.
Time traveling and just talk about what we were going to talk about?
It's all about setup. It's all about the setup. So Netflix is obviously a streaming service that you love to use and I love to use, and we use it often. So what we're going to start doing here is telling people what's coming out on Netflix.
And also what is going to be leaving Netflix.
Now, I haven't found a what's leaving Netflix in March yet. I found what's showing up in
we
Netflix.
Just like the pertinent things that we like that we know we would want to recommend before it's gone. We're not going to like talk about everything that's leaving Netflix because you can just Google that. But we're going to tell you what our picks are once we get it up.
Yep, we're going to just go here and...
That's one thing that I like and hate about Netflix is that it's always getting more content and changing its content, but I also really dislike when they take shit off that I love. That really bothers me.
All right, so we're going to go down the list here, and we're going to go... do you want to do out with the old, in with the new? And do the stuff leaving first?
If you want to.
So we'll just go down the list here, leaving in March, starting in March 1st. Okay, so this is all the movies that are going to be out.
Wait, are you like reading all of them, or are we just going to talk about the ones that are...
The ones that matter to us.
Okay.
So I'm looking so far. First one that I noticed that sucks, all the Jaws movies are gone. Memento, gone. This is March 1st.
That was a good one.
Yeah. The Craft, gone. The first Triple X is gone. And then March 4th, doesn't have anything really pertinent. 6 doesn't have anything. 8 doesn't. The Santa Claus movies, AP, they're leaving March 12th, buddy. The 3 Santa Claus movies, the horror films that are the Santa Claus movies, are leaving March 12th.
Ollie and I tried watching the first Santa Claus movie over Christmas vacation, and he didn't like it. He's like, Mommy, can we turn this off?
I don't know.
He wasn't into it.
Here's one that you have to watch if you're a Foodies fan, because we talked about it a lot. City of God, 10 years later. We watched City of God. It was great. Archer, all 7 seasons, March 14th, gone. Zootopia, March 20th, gone.
Oh, Roger Rabbit's leaving.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, gone on March 24th. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou,
Oh, I love
March
The Life
26th.
Aquatic. We still need to do our Wes Anderson episode.
The argumentative episode of who is, whether he's a good director or not.
Oh, shit, in Like Flint.
Oh, yeah. And Like Flint, yeah. A lot of seasons of stuff. Brickleberry's gone. What's up?
We don't care about seasons. This is a food podcast.
No, I was just saying
Movie
that's
podcast.
what's gone. So we're out with the old. Let's go and get in.
Not too many losses.
We'll go and get in with the new. And with the new stuff, I think I'm just going to read the whole list swiftly. Because it'll let everybody know what's all coming out in March. So, starting March 1st, 321... Okay.
Ooh, 300 is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I once tried to watch it 300 times, like trying to make it be like over my lifetime. I had a goal of watching 300 times. And I think I got to... I think I was at like 17, because it was just like always on, you know?
And you gave up.
And I was like, fuck this movie, I don't need to watch this movie anymore. But
Okay.
maybe I will now.
I'm gonna skip ahead and just do all the ones that matter. So 300, Adventureland, Beer Fest, First Cruel Intentions, meh, not bad. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, not bad. First 2,
sad.
The Ghostbusters movies, the first 2.
Ooh, that's exciting.
I Now
Ollie
Pronounce
will be
You
pleased
Chuck
about
and
that.
Larry.
Ugh.
Jackass number 2,
Who are these movies for?
Brothers Grimm. Bucket List, The Descent. Lauren's coming back
Lauren's
to...
gonna be stoked.
Yeah. Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. March 2nd, just a bunch of seasons and stuff. March 4th, the Joel McHale Show debuts. March 5th, doesn't really have anything. 6th, doesn't really have anything that I know of. I'm trying to look here. Jessica Jones Season 2 on March 8th. That'll be good. That'll be talked about.
We still haven't watched The Defenders or
Luke
Iron
Cage
Fist
or Iron Fist. Yeah, or
all we watched
Punisher.
was... We didn't watch The Punisher. Oh, my God.
You forgot.
We got so sucked into Gotham
and
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's kind of overtaken.
Oh, man. I forgot all about The Punisher.
March 15th, Jackass 3.5. That was the director's cut with bonus footage.
Surprised you didn't mention Power Rangers. That was on the list.
Not Ninja Steel. I don't give a shit about Ninja Steel. Ain't Mighty Morphin. I don't give a fuck. Conor McGregor Notorious comes out March 21st. That's a documentary about Conor McGregor, the MMA fighter.
Yeah.
March 28th, 51st Dates goes back on. Series of Unfortunate...
Little Women comes back.
Yeah.
I missed that movie. I was just thinking about that movie the other day. Weird.
I think you said something about that, too.
Did I?
I think so.
Weird.
Yeah. A Series of Unfortunate Events, Season 2, March 30th.
We didn't finish season 1.
No, it wasn't very
I wasn't
good to
into
us.
it.
Not really.
I wanted to like it, but I just didn't.
And then that's pretty much it for March on Netflix. The stuff that at least I know, care about, mattered, whatnot.
All right.
So,
well, I thought that was a very successful first time doing that segment.
Yeah, I liked it.
We hope you guys liked it.
Yeah.
Tell us what you guys think.
And tell us what movies are coming to Netflix that we didn't talk about that we should be hyped on that's on that list. Just go search for it and give us a hit on Twitter at Film Foodies or on Facebook at Foodies Watching Movies or on Instagram at Foodies Watching Movies. You guys know where to find us because you already found us. Also want to mention Shape of Water, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Certified fresh. That's a thing we need to talk about. And I said it before, we're going to try not to make this a thing. But we have to talk a little bit about Black Panther's numbers because it is a movie.
Ooh.
And there's some stuff, I don't know if you know this, and I don't know where to actually show you, like, where on their fucking site this is actually shown.
Man, Black Panther is such a good movie. If you haven't already seen it, I would recommend going out and watching it.
Well, here's how good it is, V, and this is what I was trying to get to. It's the...
It always comes back to superhero movies. Sorry, folks.
It actually is based on its Metacritic score and everything the Rotten Tomatoes has for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on to RottenTomatoes.com, and this is based on the amount of reviews it has, the amount of certified freshes it is, and all those things, it is actually the best movie of all time.
Black Panther?
Per Rotten Tomatoes site, yes. It's higher rated than Citizen Kane and Gone with the Wind and all that. It is king. Crazy.
Well, I wouldn't say it was that good.
Well,
but
I'm saying based on...
I thought it was really good, yeah.
Well, and I mean, think about it.
I guess based on the numbers and everything.
Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this.
Their box office numbers are insane, right?
That's what I was coming to right now because I always use this as a reference point when I'm talking about movie box offices because I think about this movie and I thought it was successful and it failed. Amazing Spider-Man 2. It did $95 million at the box office opening weekend and was considered a failure.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, not shit when you consider Black Panther on its second weekend just did $104 million.
Yeah, that's
on its
crazy.
Second weekend, not on its debut weekend. On its second weekend, it actually
just keeps making more money.
Black Panther pushed the Marvel Cinematic Universe to Lifetime, having made a total gross of $14 billion for
Holy
Marvel.
Shit.
So the acquisition from Disney back in 2009 definitely has paid dividends, and then some for them. So there's rumors Black Panther might appear in the next Spider-Man movie. A little callback there. There's a lot of different things.
I was
in that
so
regard.
excited for the Black Panther movie. I was a fan of the comics. I was a fan of, everything from the Civil War era of Marvel Universe, and I'm glad that we finally got to see something in Wakanda.
Here's another one for you.
It's making me look forward also to the new Ant-Man and Wasp movie.
Yeah.
Because it's what was that animated Avengers movie where they were all on
Ultimate Avengers.
Ultimate Avengers.
Yeah.
That was rad. I loved that one, and I loved Thor in it, too.
Yeah.
He was an animal activist.
Yes, he was.
Whale killer. That was so funny.
Here's a little bit of numbers for you. So this is as of last week. So this is almost a week old at this point. Black Panther was sitting at $292 million in its first 7 days. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Avengers only did $270. So it beat the Avengers by $22 million in its first 7 days. It's a great movie. It's doing a lot for Marvel. I think that they hit the nail on the head. They finally hit one out of the park that was, it reached everyone, and it wasn't just a superhero movie.
That was definitely Marvel's best movie.
Totally. Here's the thing. You were asking about him, but do you know that Brendan Fraser was in and out of hospitals for years?
That is so interesting that you're bringing up Brendan Fraser, because my son and I were just talking about him again, yesterday, because he made me watch George of the Jungle again. It was the day before yesterday. And he's obsessed with Brendan Fraser. He loves The Mummy. He loves George of the Jungle. He liked that Journey to the Center of the Earth crap. And then I was innocently scrolling on Facebook, and there was a whole big article about Brendan Fraser and whatever happened to him, blah, blah, blah. And I was just wow.
Doing his own stunts actually hurt him.
He's a big dude.
He says, I believe I probably was trying too hard in a way that's destructive. By the time I did the third Mummy picture in China, I was put together with tape and ice, just really nerdy and feisty about ice packs. Screw cap ice packs, downhill mountain biking pads because they're small and light and they can fit under your clothes. I was building an exoskeleton for myself daily. I needed a laminectomy. and the lumbar didn't take, so they had to do it again a year later.
Damn.
And then another thing is interesting is Brendan Fraser also came out recently and accused a head of foreign relations with one of the companies he worked for of groping him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like it's another...
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's another thing that's probably going to blow up soon. Let's see if I can pull that article up too here before we get on here, folks. Brendan.
In case you were wondering what Brendan Fraser was up to these days. Sometimes you just gotta know.
Apparently I can't spell for shit.
Brendan.
Oh, I put E-N, not A-N. My bad. Apparently I can't spell for shit.
I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I always liked Brendan Fraser's movies. I loved George of the Jungle. I loved Bedazzled and how awful that movie was. It was great.
All right, I got the thing. This is 2 days ago, which at this point is almost a week ago, or over a week ago. Back in the early 2000s, Brendan Fraser was at the peak of his career. He was leading man in Hollywood, headlining popular fare like The Mummy, and more critical fare like Quiet America and Crash. However, he was also dealing with demons personally while working so hard in the industry, including mental health issues and various incidents he couldn't shake. This week, Brendan opened up about the time in his limelight, also talking about the 2003 incident involving former Hollywood Foreign Press President Philip Burke, where he said that Philip pinched Brendan's butt, and then Fraser, at the time, Burke had claimed that it was a joke. Fraser is saying it was, much more gruesome than that. He said, a quote from Brendan Fraser says, "His left hand reaches around and grabs my ass cheek, and one of his fingers touches me in the taint." Wow.
Descriptive.
And he got really gross and freaked out on this dude, I guess. And then Brendan says,
that sounds awful.
To this day, he's still frightened. He felt like he had to say something, and he's wanted to many times, but he just didn't know if it was how it would be received. I mean, think of how it used to be. Yeah, that kind of thing can
ruin your career.
And it used to ruin your career, and now the tide is turning, and more people are speaking up and getting these things out in the open to throw people and get them out of Hollywood. I think Hollywood needs to be cleansed,
I don't know. It's hard for me to have an opinion on things when I don't feel educated enough on the subject.
Well, but think about this year alone, or 2017 alone, the amount of accusations against Hollywood-based people who are up in the world.
Right.
Not the actors.
It's hard for me to engage in these kind of conversations because it always turns political, and I don't like being political, and I don't like that these kind of conversations end up becoming political. I know I just made it happen because I said that, but...
Yeah, but there was nothing political about what I'm saying.
I know, but, it always ends up, coming down to it, just like the whole gun violence thing, when these kind of conversations, they're hard for me because I want to say so many things, but it's I don't know what the right thing is,
Well, I think the right thing is for people to fucking not touch people who aren't with them.
Oh, well, obviously.
End of story, right?
Yeah, just be a decent fucking human.
Exactly.
The problem... Well, it's not really a problem. I guess being a woman, I've grown up being harassed, and I've been assaulted before, and it's just as a woman, I have come to just expect it from certain people, or, based on my own experiences. It's just uncomfortable,
Yeah.
And it sucks when it gets politicized and then belittled, and then the conversations change and it becomes about something that it wasn't originally about.
Correct.
It's why can't everybody just
be on the same
scumbags?
page? Exactly.
Can we all just get along, y'all? Ugh.
I agree. Well, V, I think we can get out of here for this part of the show. I am going to be...
AP?
Yeah, AP and I are going to do a little segment before this episode airs, obviously. Mm-hmm. He and I will get together. We'll do some talking. We're going to talk about how his experiences was, because this past weekend was not only just AP going to see the movies that he's going to see. I think he's doing that this weekend and next weekend, if I'm correct. So he will have seen all the Best Picture noms in theaters by the time, it comes around. But also, this past Sunday was AP's birthday. He turned 28 today. The episode drops February 28th. So happy 28th birthday, AP.
Happy birthday, AP.
Shout out to you, my friend. And actually, without further ado, V, thank you, first of all, so much for coming back to Foodies.
Oh, well, yeah, this is partially my podcast,
It
so
is
I'm always glad to be a part of it.
Well, but I'm just,
And I love podcasting with you.
Oh, well, I love podcasting with you, too. It's always an amazing experience. We always have a lot of fun, and you never know really where the conversation's going to take us.
Tangent City.
You laughed at me.
Sorry.
But you got to see my face, and you're not wrong. I made a face. I was like, what the fuck? But anyways, thanks so much for coming back.
Definitely.
AP and I are going to take over now.
Take it away, man.
So I'll do the plugs in the later part of the show, folks, and take it away, me. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and it is officially the second half of Foodies Watching Movies. And much like last week, I am joined once again in the after show by Mr. AP. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be a part of something I can't really be there in person for. It's always nice, the joys of technology.
The joys of technology are great because we can still communicate and have this awesome chat together. You've been very busy since the last time we spoke, and I feel like if we don't just get right into kind of the business of things, there's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, by the point this is aired, this will be the second time I'm saying this to you, but now I can say it on the air to you actually. But happy birthday. How was your birthday?
It was great. I got to spend time with the fiance's family since my family is not up here, but got to talk to them on the phone, so it was always good.
Hell yeah.
Went out, had a nice steak for lunch, which was always good.
Where at?
There's a Jameson's steakhouse up here that I went to. It was really good. Nice New York strip, no seasoning, no sauce, just
medium rare?
Medium.
Okay, I can appreciate a man that does his steak medium. That's just before the point of no return.
Right. I used to be medium well, and then when I was like a teenager, and now I'm medium all the way.
Now, have you ever had like a rare or medium rare steak?
I've gotten medium rare steaks before. Like sometimes when it's like they don't give you an option, they just give you what they give you.
Totally.
It's still pretty good. Still really good.
Okay, have you ever tried steak tartare?
I don't think so.
Do you know what steak tartare is?
It's fairly. It's like where it's just like flash cooked, pretty much.
It is flash cooked, and it's 90% rare, or 90% raw, not rare.
That would be interesting. I have not tried it. Have you tried it?
No, it's one of the few steak styles that I have not yet got down on. I've pretty much tried the gauntlet of all the other styles, but steak tartare just kind of terrifies me a little bit,
Yeah.
Just like if it could still moo at me right now,
right?
I'm not cool with that.
It's like I don't think I'd ever do full rare, or not full rare, but I don't think I'd ever do that or well done. I feel like there's the two ends of the spectrums you really don't want to mess with.
Totally. You don't need to fuck with a well done steak. Like, what are you doing at that point? Just make bacon. It's so much better. If you want crispy meat, just eat bacon.
Oh yeah.
So you had a good, delicious steak for your birthday. You turned 28.
I did.
This episode of Foodies is dropping, if you're listening on launch day, on the 28th.
Yeah.
So
28 on the 28th.
That's pretty cool, right?
I know.
But you did something kind of pre your birthday celebration style. We talked about it a little bit on the episode, actually, about how you were gone on holiday on Saturday when we recorded. Because what were you doing, my friend? What was up? What was going on?
Having the best birthday eve ever. For any movie lover, this is my third year doing it. Liz, my fiance, and I went and saw the first half of AMC's Best Picture Showcase.
Hell yeah.
So we got to see, I saw 4 movies on Saturday, and then this coming Saturday I'll see 5. So it's gonna be a nice. So it was like a 10:30 start, and then got out of Shape of Water at like 8:30, 9, somewhere in there. So it was a nice 11 hours.
Not bad. What was the first movie?
So I saw Phantom Thread.
Okay, well then then after Phantom Thread was?
Lady Bird.
Okay, and then it was
3 Billboards.
And then
Shape of Water.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome. Interesting to note, we spent a lot of the episode talking about The Shape of Water, man. We finally watched it. It was an amazing, beautiful, moving movie. Jesus, it still got me thinking several days later now. And it's like, we haven't seen Three Billboards yet. It's on the list. Hopefully by Oscar time, it's next on the list.
Yeah, Three Billboards is also a fantastic movie.
Okay.
Like those two, I think are we can get into it.
When we will get into it, because I kind of want to talk a little bit about the other two as well. Lady Bird is one we want to see. Phantom Thread, I'm not really entirely certain I need to see it, but I'm going to let you kind of guide us through. What are your thoughts on these movies? You sat 11 hours and saw them. Also, how was the crowd? Were there a lot of people doing this showcase, or was
it's it wasn't sold out. I've been to ones that have been, like last year it was fairly sold out. This year it was still pretty crowded. Very interesting group. There's people around my age. There's people a little bit older than there's like older people, like people like the wheelchair cane kind of people.
Really?
Which I'm guessing it's maybe the only time these guys go out to the movies. Just get it all out at once. They got nothing else going on. Maybe that's why.
Easy to sit for several hours for them and not get up and down a lot. Did you hawk your wares and tell everybody about your podcast?
I did not. That's for next week. I was building the relationship. I made friends with the people in my row that are also going to be there next week.
Yes, that's awesome. Hell yeah, that's great.
I was like, it's really weird. Like people that you don't expect to like be talking about. Like there's a guy sitting like that I was talking to that I made friends with that looked like a straight up like biker, like long beard, big guy. I'm like,
sure.
And it's like, do you like I, Tonya? I was like, what? Yeah, I did like I, Tonya.
I loved I, Tonya. That movie was great.
It's like, it's like talking about like movies from like a few years ago. I'm like, I do not see you as like being into these movies, but I like that we're talking right now.
Yeah, like keep it up, keep that shit up, dude. Oh shit, what am I doing? I'm trying to get you bigger on my screen, and I'm not figuring it out. Whatever. Oh shit, that's not the right way to do it, folks. This is live on the podcast. I'm trying to figure this out because that's how I do it. I pushed the wrong button. Excellent.
And one thing I love about the showcase is that like all typical movie theater rules are just off because they give you like a lanyard and then it's just like you can do whatever. Like I was eating like what was I? I was like eating cantaloupe at like 11 a.m. in a movie theater just because we brought it in our bag with like our blanket and our neck pillows and snacks and drinks and stuff. Yeah, it's like.
Could you have ordered Papa John's pizza or some sort of pizza directly to the movie theater? And said, we are screening in theater 14. What theater were you in? Do you remember the number?
It was 2.
Oh, shit. I was way off. Yeah. I'd have freaked out if you'd have been like, how did you know? It was fucking 14.
I think there's only like 12 in that place. But still, I don't think you could probably bring it in, but I don't think you'd have it delivered. But like, we went to like, because it's in a mall, so we went to the food court and came back with like Subway.
Oh,
and just walked back in, sat down, had our sandwich, waited for the next movie. Because you get that nice little 20-ish minute break, and then we got like an hour for dinner. So,
oh, that's groovalicious, man. That's exciting. So let's get right into it. First off, on the docket, you saw Phantom Thread. What are your reactions to this movie? What kind of movie is it even? I don't really know the premise, so break it down for us.
So Phantom Thread is, as you know, it has Daniel Day-Lewis in it.
Is it his final film?
That's what he said. He said this is his last, and it's not my kind of movie. It was basically takes place in I think just after World War One. Daniel Day-Lewis plays Reynolds Woodcock, who's a dressmaker, like for like wealthy people, royalty in England. This is where it's set, and he's this very routine, very OCD. I think Liz and I, after talking about it, said he might possibly be playing someone who's a little on the spectrum.
Okay, fair enough.
Like but it's before that's actually a thing that's diagnosed. It's just like if someone ruins some part of his routine, it throws his whole day out of whack, and he's a very controlling person, and he has a muse, and there's a really weird relationship, and yeah, there's a couple things I was just like, you're just like sitting like, what is happening? Like, it was probably my least favorite of the Best Picture movies, just in terms of taste, that I've seen so far.
Okay, totally.
But But it may also be Daniel Day-Lewis's best performance, in my opinion.
Wow. Just because of how on the spot he nails it?
Yeah, like just the amount of play he has. May not be my favorite movie, but I think the acting in it is phenomenal.
Is he up for Best Actor?
I believe so.
I don't have the list in front of me. I can look at it right now from afar. This happened earlier in the podcast, but now Veronica's not across from me to grab it for me, so I can't.
Yeah, I had it pulled up before my computer decided to freak out.
That was a crazy coincidence that happened, or crazy situation that happened before we actually got going today. You had called me. We were getting ready to get into this, and boom. So before we go on to the next movie, which you said was
Phantom Thread.
No.
The next one?
Lady Bird was second.
Yeah, Lady Bird was second.
But before we leave Phantom Thread, I want to know, out of 5, quick rapid reaction based on what you typically rate movies.
Are we doing whole numbers?
What do you mean whole numbers?
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, or are we doing like halves?
You can do it however the fuck you want, man. Just give it to me real. Let me know where you feel it.
I'm going to say it's like 3.9 out of 5.
3.9. Okay, so it's almost a 4, so it's like a solid like B-.
Yeah, it was like people loved the movie. It's just not a movie I would have seen on my own if it wasn't part of this showcase. Like if it would have, like if it just would have came up and been like, if I would have seen a trailer for it, I'd been like, all right,
okay, excellent. Before we go on to the next movie, I do want to mention, and I think it's a good time to do so. We need to give serious praise out to our listeners, AP, because I haven't told you this yet, but number one, my friend, of the Journey into Comics Network shows, we are now currently most downloaded in the past 30 days.
Really?
Yeah, the last episode we did, which was the Popeye's Chicken Princess Bride episode, has
so
100.
Many things.
It has 120. Let me tell you right now, I'm going to look it up. It has over 120 something odd fucking things, and that's crazy because there's only like 4 shows all time that we've had, at least from our Podbean stats, that have broke those numbers. And it's not crazy huge, but we're still getting people that are paying attention to what we're doing. I think it's good to say, hey, thank you guys so fucking much for checking it out.
I know, I finally broke triple digits. I was shocked and surprised and happy. Things are moving in a great trajectory for the network.
Yeah, it's 121. Popeye's Chicken Princess Bride has 121 downloads. So it's the second most downloaded in the past 3 months, which is huge. When you think about, we had feature week when a lot of people found us and on the network and what have you, and now it's just things are kind of picking up, and I really am. Yeah. It's really good.
It was really interesting. We got the spike with the network, and then it settled, and then we had the steady climb since. It was weird. It's everyone was downloading a bunch of episodes, but weren't really listening to all of them. And then they found their groove and then started keeping up week to week.
They figured out what shows they're into based on some of the stuff that they had pulled from the catalog.
Which is why those best of the weeks really took off. Those downloads went up.
Man, and I'm telling you, I love the best of the week so much so that, and I want to mention that I went back and edited and reworked the intro. Now, your new intro for your other show, The Poor Report, which is every Tuesday on the Journey into Comics Network, Cheap Pop. Your episode 26 was just yesterday, and long episode, very intense episode. But let's get back to some Foodies watching movies talk here. Next on the list is Lady Bird. Now, Lauren has seen Lady Bird. You have seen Lady Bird. It's on our list to see. It's probably third in the once of what we want to watch next.
What have you seen from the Best Picture so far? You saw Get Out, saw Shape. Is that it, or do you have another one?
Get Out, Shape, and I think that's it for right now. Yeah.
So I know you've seen Florida Project and I, Tonya. Both were, I thought, what might have been Best Picture contenders, but ended up working out that way. So you've seen some nominated movies. It's just not the Best Picture lineup.
Correct. And I also saw The Disaster Artist. That's got a nom for Best Original Screenplay, I think.
Yeah. That's the only nom.
Yeah. And no, I want to see 3 Billboards, but Lady Bird, go on with it, man. What did you think?
Lady Bird was really interesting.
That's got Saoirse Ronan in it?
Yes. Where I've seen her, and she's done a few movies. She's been up for Best Actress before, too. because I saw her in Brooklyn, I think 2 years ago, and she actually lost her native, I think it's a Irish accent for that movie.
She does have an Irish accent, very Irish.
There's no, it's not like when like a British actor tries to play American, you have that subtle hint of like, that's not really English. It's just a little off, but like you lose her completely.
I can tell you're pretending.
But like she sounds like a kid who was born and raised in Sacramento. Like, and it's a really wonderful story. It's just like a family that kind of is down that they don't have a lot of money between them, but due to some circumstances, she's going to like a pretty well-to-do private school. Okay. So has like rich friends and tries to like put on airs to like fit in, and finds a group, finds a guy, finds a different guy. And it's actually really interesting. There's a lot of, at least I noticed from the first day, there's a lot of actors that are in multiple Best Picture nominated films.
Yeah.
Because Lady Bird has 3 people that are actually in other Best Picture. Because you have, I'm going to forget his name. There's 2 boys in our class. One of the kids is in 3 Billboards as the son of the main character.
Oh, sweet.
And then Timothy Chalamet, who's the main character in Call Me by Your Name, is another of her. Like both boys that she has like crushes on are in this movie, and then go on to do other movies, which is pretty weird. And then you got to talk about Michael Stuhlbarg, who's in Shape of Water, The Post, and Call Me by Your Name. And I don't know if you remember, he was the scientist who had a heart of gold towards the monster in Shape of Water.
Yeah, Dmitri, I think was his name, his Russian name. Bob. Yeah, Bob.
Bob the scientist.
Man. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. So, out of 5, what are your thoughts on Lady Bird here? Because I'm intrigued yet again.
Lady Bird is probably... It's tough, though, because where I rate it, there's going to be some that I'm going to rate the same because they're excellent. But like, if I had to rank all the Best Pictures, it would fall differently. But I think it's probably 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Okay, excellent. So the next on your docket was 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. This movie has piqued my interest. I do actually know what the story's about. A young girl is murdered, and the police officers in the county and in the state across the border doing nothing to really find her killer or do anything to help this family out. And the mother has kind of got sick and tired of the bullshit, and she says, fuck it, I'm going to call these bastards out in the biggest way possible. I'm going to throw up these billboards outside of my town that are going to just call out their injustices. And right. I'm assuming, I do not know the story, but I'm assuming that something gets done. That's why a story was told about it. Obviously, if a story was told about nothing getting done, it wouldn't be a story. It would just be nothing. So
right. Yeah, I guess getting right. Yeah, you pretty much got it right on the head. Like it picks up, I think 10 months after her daughter was murdered, and like the trail just ran cold. Like they were investigating it for a couple months, couldn't find couldn't find incriminating evidence to get someone blamed for it or get someone arrested and charged for it. So it was just a cold case at that point. And she wanted some kind of relief, so she decides to sell her ex-husband's tractor trailer to buy a month of billboards, or buys like the down payment on a year of these billboards put up. And you got Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell playing the captain and one of the deputies, respectively. And it's this little it's a current movie. It's not a period piece. It takes place like now, but in like southern Missouri, like kind of like almost like the South. It's really interesting.
Really? It's based on a true story, and how long ago was it?
I don't know if it's based on a true story.
You don't really? It's not?
I don't think it is.
I thought that was a real thing that
No,
actually...
I think that because it's up for original screenplay, so it's not adapted from anything.
Oh, shit. Well, that's crazy.
Martin McDonough wrote and directed the film.
That's awesome, man. Well, now I feel kind of dumb because I thought I was a little more learned. I was like, oh, it's based on real shit. It's not.
I mean, it's probably there's probably things that have like maybe lent themselves to a story, but I don't think there's anything that's directly adapted.
Loosely inspired it.
Yeah, maybe something that you saw like a headline, you're like, oh, that's interesting, and then flesh it out more or something.
Totally.
But literally, the surprise find in that is Peter Dinklage is in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I bet he's awesome because he's great in everything.
He's interesting. He's got a mullet and a mustache because it's Southern Missouri in an American accent. But hey,
Jesus.
When you're the only midget in a small town in Missouri that's a little racist, you're gonna have a fun time.
Oh man, I bet.
You really need to check out the movie. I think like it was my favorite movie of the day.
Maybe I'll push that can be something that can be done tomorrow, and we can hurry up and watch this movie. Or it would have been done yesterday, I guess, if you're time traveling.
I know before I saw the movie, I've heard there was people had problems with the movie regarding some of the subject matter and character arcs and stuff like that. But I saw it and I didn't see anything that I outright disliked about any of the story or the characters. It seemed very realistic. Like that and Lady Bird are very realistic stories. Like it seems logical that a plot could go that way given the circumstances.
Totally. Okay. So I'll throw this question down as I've been doing. You got to rate it, man. And here's the question. I know what you thought of Get Out. So now you've got to put this one up against Get Out. And with all the bells and whistles, where do you rank this movie? I mean, you told me when you got out of the showcase, you're like Three Signs is the one. Like,
yeah,
it's the one for me.
Yeah, if Get Out is my 5, Three Billboards is my 4.9 out of 5.
Shit, that close, huh?
Yeah, like it's also it's timely. It's like it's similar yet different to Get Out it's very timely, just like Get Out was. Like but in its own way. Like it tells a very realistic story that you could see on headlines.
So it's one of those things that is without intending to speak as a political chess piece, if you will, you know. Like, here's our movie championing this cause subversively through our theme. These are just good in the terms of, hey, this shit is real and this is how we have to look at things.
Right. And, like, did you even see, like, how they've used it in the current events and news and climate? Like, they put up 3 trucks had billboards calling out Marco Rubio in Florida regarding the shooting. Like, legit, like, a same type of thing, like calling him out. Like, it's definitely a very timely, and I think it definitely deserves support. But if it doesn't leave with a couple awards next Sunday, I would be shocked.
I feel like next Sunday is going to be a knockdown, drag out battle between 2 movies, and it's this one and the last one you saw in the showcase. Yeah. Which is The Shape of Water. Now, you have already seen it once going into the showcase.
No, I didn't see any of the movies. I also saw every movie Saturday for the first time.
Oh, incredible. Okay. So now, let's do it. What are your thoughts on The Shape of Water? And we've already spoiled a lot of that in the episode, so we can talk about it a little bit more here. This is the after show, after party with AP and Nate. You're hanging out. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Compared to 3 Billboards, Shape of Water is a lot more fantastical a story. Like, you can't, there's, like, it's not something that you can see as being something that's real, but it's also very much its own unique story that I've never seen anything that has genre bent like this.
Okay. I want to hear you explain further how you mean genre bent.
Well, because it's interesting. It's a period piece, for one.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi movie.
Totally.
It's a bit of a romance story. It's a kind of a musical. There's a lot of facets to this movie, and I think
it has some horror elements to it as well.
It does also have some horror elements to it.
I guess now when you got me thinking about it,
it gave me a little throwback to Stranger Things.
Okay, it also has a little bit of a French film vibe to it. Veronica mentioned that.
That's what Veronica's saying. I haven't seen enough French films to really be able to put it in that category. I don't have big repertoire.
I can pretty much tell you that a lot of French films are no fear on the sexuality and just being really kind of in the open with that kind of stuff. And that was definitely The Shape of Water. You know, it had some, you know, really pretty intense sexual scenes. Not like crazy, but you know what I'm saying.
More than I was expecting, and some were a little jarring or unexpected.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. Like I don't ever need to see it.
First couple minutes, you're like, oh, this is going to be the movie I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, yeah. And then you learn like the main character is deaf, and you're just like totally amazed and taken aback by the story. And it's
one thing I don't think you touched on really with when you started Shape of Water, but I think the first scene alone where it's Richard Jenkins is narrating over the story, and everything's starting from outside underwater, and then everything you see Sally Hawkins kind of floating, and then everything kind of slowly falls back to place. And it's amazing the amount of digital effects in this movie or visual effects that don't actually seem like visual effects. Like a lot of stuff, like I was looking at a lot of the behind the scenes stuff in this movie, and a lot of stuff isn't actually there. Like a lot of stuff is digitally added after that. There's a lot more green screens than you would think about for that movie.
That's actually really shocking.
Because it looks like it's all very practical, doesn't it?
But I'm guessing that like the entire lab is green screened.
A good chunk of it. Do you remember when she's looking in the tank and the water's all splashing around and stuff?
Uh-huh.
That water's not there.
Wow.
And like a lot of out in the city stuff is all not really there, which it's really interesting.
That is interesting. I need you to send me the links to that.
Yeah, I'll have to try and find that video. And did you also know that her, not really her roommate, her like next door neighbor, who was played by Richard Jenkins, that part was originally written for Ian McKellen?
Really?
And I think I would be like, I think Richard Jenkins is nominated, but I think if Ian McKellen was nominated in its place, I think he would have had a shot for winning based on his caliber of acting and what he could have done the same and differently with that role, because a lot of that stuff I feel like is similar to his own life. Because I mean, there's that homosexual relationship at the time when it's not okay. I mean, there's still segregation and
absolutely, and having to deal with that segregation and trying to be yourself and being kind of shunned. That movie was awesome. What do you out of 5? I mean, I'm curious. I need to know.
This is where it's gonna be. It's at 4.9 out of 5, the same as 3 Billboards. They're both at the very same caliber of movie, but very different in terms of plot, acting, visuals. It's really bizarre, but that's what, like, Liz came out of the movie feeling Shape of Water over 3 Billboards for her, because she just liked those kinds of movies more than I do.
Now, we've talked about this before, and you've said it, you don't typically emote when watching a film, but I have to ask, did Shape of Water get you?
I was kind of surprised. This weekend, with a lot of the movies I saw, I had a lot of not vocalization, but I had a lot of reactions. I had a lot of, like, putting my hands up, like, what in the... Like, Phantom Thread did it for me. Lady Bird didn't, and then 3 Billboards didn't, but Shape of Water had parts I was like... There's the very beginning. The fingers was a little... The point where, like, when he was forcefully having sex with his wife, and then, like, the blood, when he just didn't stop, and, like, blood was just, like, on her face.
That was fucking gross.
And just that whole scene of that with the candy and the weird Russian subplot around Michael Stuhlbarg's character, how they wanted him to kill the beast, but he didn't want something like that to die, and the whole thing, I don't know if you remember when you watched the movie how, since Sally Hawkins is mute, her character Eliza, how she described the fact that the beast actually had a penis, that it, like, opened up and...
yes.
I was like, oh, that's... There was a lot, like... I also felt a little... Like, there's parts I was like, why would you do that? When, there's 3 things I hated about the movie, and that's just because of the things I like. When the beast ate the cat, I was like, oh, that sucks. when they flooded their apartment and water started raining down on that really beautiful movie theater, I was like, oh, that's such a nice theater. And then when they wrecked into that classic car, I was like, oh, I just love that car so much. Why are you doing it?
Okay, here's a couple things, because I want to say that the car crash of those three things was my favorite, because serves Michael Shannon's character so right. You know what I'm saying? Like the heist to free the beast. And spoiler alert, if you're this late in the episode, you should already probably know we're talking about The Shape of Water. We're going to put it in the episode description, so fucking read, people. Sorry, I'm just being real. That's like how it goes. But
right.
This movie, you know, when they're going through the whole scene and it's like they got to make the escape, and they plant the thing on the fuse box and everything's timed, and Octavia Spencer shows up. I loved her in this movie. I just want to mention again, she kills it in this as this character. And you know, then they're all in it together, and then everything kind of goes mostly to plan, except for Richard Jenkins wrecking the fucking van at the worst possible moment. And I thought for sure, I was like, oh, one of these guys is getting shot for sure. Like, this is bad. And then it ended up not being bad so much.
Richard Jenkins, his character just had the worst luck. Like, every time I tried to paint something to give it to that guy to get his job back, they wanted to change one little thing about it. And I was like, come on. And then he faked the his little ID, and then it smudged, and then he almost got the car stuck. And I was like, oh my God, Richard Jenkins is going to die not accomplishing anything. He's going to be the fallen hero. And then he actually got a nice bit at the end. He just, when he had that, I think it was a piece of wood or something, just slammed Michael Shannon across the face.
Yeah, that was fucking pimp, dude.
That last 20-ish minutes were fairly gory for a movie that I thought it was going to be.
Not only gory, but, you know, I'm not going to lie. I honestly thought, like, again, spoiler alert, the beast gets shot. And I was like, fuck, they just killed this thing. And
I kind of thought that's how it was going to end. Like,
same.
Both of them just dead on the ground. I was like, and then Richard Jenkins.
Well, but I think Veronica said this very well, too, throughout the movie, planting the seeds that he has this regenerative or healing ability of some sorts. And it was unexplained, and they never really figured out how or why or whatever.
I loved Michael Shannon's realization. It's like, oh, you really are a god. And then just that slash across the throat. I was like...
yeah. And that was like almost... and we will not be talking about this because I'm boycotting the show, but not the comic book. But it was very Rick Negan in the Walking Dead comics, where which I can't really go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil that for people who aren't reading the books.
I gotcha.
But you know, Shape of Water, it just did it for me, man. That's all I can really say about that.
Yeah, it's a visually stunning film.
Oh my God, I know one thing we talked about on the episode earlier, Veronica and I talked about that I wanted to bring up to you. Did you hear about my Oscar party idea within what we're going to be doing next weekend?
No.
Okay, well, you had mentioned doing something like having Lou Malnati's and Gino's, or, you know, and side-by-siding them. But yeah. I thought, why not take it a step further? I've not ever had either pizza, and I would like to do a blind taste test. V wants to know if you guys want to do the blind taste test. She will be like the administering MC because, you know, she knows both pizzas fairly well.
Right.
And have us judge them based on taste and then try to decide if we can pick which was which.
Right. I probably wouldn't go there because I've had all of them.
Oh shit! See,
but I know Lauren hasn't.
Oh,
so Lauren could go head to head on it.
Oh, that would be fun as fuck. I would love to go. We'll see if she'll throw down the gauntlet with me. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, we could always get like, because there's three there's a Gino's East, there's a Lou Malnati's, and then there's a Giordano's that are buying me that we could get a small piece from each one of them, and then just do that should fill. Is Sarah coming?
Yeah, she'll be there as well, obviously.
So,
I don't know if she'll be on the episode, folks. We can't ever commit that the pod mother will do anything like that. But I have to call her that because she really birthed this whole thing when she told me that I needed to do a fucking show. It was her fucking musing idea that led me to all of this. So I gotta.
This is why you should watch Mother.
Oh no, I don't want to watch that movie. I heard it was scarring.
Oh, you might not be able to sleep very well the night after you watch that movie.
Really? That intense, huh?
It's a little graphic, but it's
Isn't it about like a terrible murder of a baby?
That's in the movie, but it's all very much allegory.
Okay.
Everything, I don't know. I didn't know that's what the movie was going to be, but if you can get past that, it's actually a really good movie.
Fuck yeah.
I don't think it deserved to get a Razzie nomination, but I think just because some people just outright hated the movie at face value.
I'm trying to get you in the selfie so we can do this for Foodies. There we go. We'll see if we can post that later. Late night podcasting with AP and Nate. I fucking love it, bro.
Yeah.
Have you had any? You talked about steak a little bit. We just went to Mod Pizza. Have we talked about Mod Pizza with you ever?
I know you guys have liked it. I haven't tried it yet. There's one by me that I really want to check out. I think Liz and I need to do it for a meal.
Dude, it's so cool. Honestly, like, you know, it's the Subway of pizza. You get whatever toppings you want, man. Yesterday, the pizza I had pepperoni, tomatoes, bacon, green peppers, mushrooms, roasted garlic, regular garlic, red sauce, mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, and I'm trying to think there was maybe one other thing. Oh, I think I did a dash of pepper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That does sound all really good.
Oh,
and it's
so good.
Is it the same price no matter what you put on it, or is it like you pay like
it's the exact same price no matter what you put on it? So essentially, for an 11-inch, it's $7.87, I think.
It's a good deal.
It's not bad, and an 11-inch is 2 meals for me. Like, I eat half of an 11-inch because I put a shit ton of stuff on it, you know, because
right, you fill yourself up on that.
Exactly, and then have the other half as a leftover, and it's even better as leftover pizza, like reheated.
Cold?
No, reheated is because all the flavor sets into the crust, and the crust is awesome. They have a super fast cooking oven that's like fire. It shoots flames and shit. It's bad as fuck.
Very nice.
Yeah, man. We love Mod Pizza. We're all about Mod Pizza.
Yeah, I need to definitely check it out. Maybe Liz and I will do it this week.
We also, earlier in the episode, were talking about Movie Pass. Can you elaborate why your Movie Pass is cheaper?
Why my Movie Pass is cheaper?
Didn't you say that you can get Movie Pass for like $7.50 or something now or some shit?
Oh, they're running a special. New subscribers can get it for $7.95 a month.
Damn.
I don't. I have it for $9.95 because that's when I got it.
Here in the next week or so, we're going to be ordering our years.
There you go. You have to look and see if it's cheaper if you do $7.95 for 12 months, or was it $150? No, was it 90 something for the year?
It's not. It's $89.95 for the year.
So it's probably still a better deal to do the year than $8 a month.
Yeah. Also, I contacted the dude who created Movie Pass, who I learned also is a co-creator of Redbox and a co-founder of Netflix.
Yeah, he's got a good background for this.
Absolutely. He was on a podcast recently talking, and we covered that earlier and stuff.
Because you understand like what their plan is, because this isn't Movie Pass's end goal.
No, they have a bigger goal, and it's to be able to market to the people direct the right way.
Right. They want to make that basically the Netflix of movie theaters. Like they want to gear you to the theater and the theater to you. They have their own ideas. They don't want to just be the cheap alternative to a movie.
They're good. They want to be. What did they say? That they are okay with breaking even because they want it to be something more. Right. This is just the first step in a bigger goal.
Well, and they said like this is leading more people to the theaters, and that's where they hope to one day get a piece of the concessions, because the movie theaters are still making the same money, but you're getting a lot more people coming out. Like I've gone to movies with Movie Pass where I've been one of 4 people in the theater for that specific screening.
Hell yeah.
And like, or sometimes I'm by myself. Like I've been to ones where it's like that movie would just sit empty if I wasn't there, and they still got money for that because they're still paying to do that showing. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Honestly, when you put it like that. Before we get out of here, got a couple other things. It's like this. We're doing an after show, so we might as well give them a little bonus stuff. I told you before. I tried this new candy. It's called Super Lemon, and it is super fucking lemony, bro. Oh my god.
Well, I saw your face when you were talking to me while you're doing it. You're just like, it kept hitting you while you were talking. Like you had the wave, and then it'd be like you'd stop, and then like everything would sour, and then you'd keep going. And I was like, it's like a gobstopper, but every other layer is more sour.
Exactly.
Or different sour.
Exactly. And it is. It's multiple layers of sour. I got it at Second and Charles. They're like, I'm pretty sure they are legitimately imported from Japan because all the markings on it are Japanese. I have no There's like I'm pretty sure there's like zero English on the actual bag, except for where they have some of like the explaining. I wish I had the bag to show you because it's really funny because it's like a comic book. I'll take pictures and share them with you.
Sounds good.
But between like the super lemon things and then I am lactose intolerant, but sometimes I want to kill myself. I don't mean that literally, but I mean that more in the food figurative sense. And we've been on a Ben & Jerry's kick as of late. And I know they have dairy-free Ben & Jerry's that I could totally eat and be cool. But fuck that, because they don't have the Tonight Dough. And
actually, I just tried from Ben & Jerry's the pint slices.
Ooh, how was it?
It's actually not bad. It's like they took a Ben & Jerry's pint and just like cut a piece out of it and then dip that in chocolate.
Hell yeah.
So I got I think I got the cookie dough one dipped in chocolate, and it comes like it's like you get like an ice cream bar.
Sweet. We just saw those at the store yesterday, and V was like, "Oh, they have Americone Dream. That's your jam." And I was like, "No,
Tonight Dough.
I'm a Fallon, not a Colbert." Like
in terms of taste, not show quality.
Totally, exactly, because I like the flavors of the Tonight Dough. I'm a big chocolate chip cookie dough fan. I love peanut butter cookies. I love peanut butter fucking ice cream and chocolate chunks and brownie swirl within it. Oh, so good.
Very good.
What do you get if you get a pint of Ben & Jerry's? What's your go-to flavor?
I think it's the brownie bite one. I can't remember what it's called. It's
maybe
it's got
brownie
like,
batter core.
Yeah, no, something like that. It's got like brownie chunks in it. It's chocolate ice cream with like brownie pieces in it.
Ooh.
It's really good.
There's a couple that have stuff like that. There's some similar, there's so many different kinds of Ben & Jerry's ice cream I didn't even know. And then I like go down the rabbit hole and I'm like, oh, I want to try that one. Oh shit, I got to try that one. Need to try this one.
You have ones with like so many different, like some that are like just like, oh, it's like this one, but they added cherries. Like, oh, I got to try that. Like, yeah, it's always good stuff. And I just got so I'm not a huge cake person. I had cherry pie for my birthday, so I have like half a cherry pie in my fridge, and I'm just like, I'm gonna savor this.
Hell yeah, cherry pie is delicious. Do you heat it up?
Not always.
Not always. Same. I'm the same. It just depends. There's some foods that I will heat up my leftovers, and then there are other times, like, let me tell you what, Gueyro del Toro, I ain't reheating those. They stank. I don't want that. Get that shit out of my house.
Right.
The leftovers are not my jam, but that mod pizza, for all days, I'm having it. Mod pizza's delicious.
That's how I feel about Brussels sprouts. Great, fresh, not the best reheated.
Ew, I totally agree with you. They're just soggy and...
Well, then the microwave smell is just like, no, I'm not feeling that.
Now my microwave smells like burnt piss. Like that's kind of the smell. I'm not gonna lie.
Can't take that to work with you.
No, you can't.
Just heat. It's like burning popcorn. Everyone's just gonna blame you.
What do you got at work today, Carl? I brought salmon. It's fresh, delicious. What do you got? Nothing. I'm not eating today. You smell that? It smells like burnt piss in here. Are you sure you're not eating anything? No. As you're chewing, I'm not eating Brussels sprouts right now. Oh God, I actually love Brussels sprouts though. I'm a big greens dude actually.
Brussels sprouts, yeah, it's like it's weird. Some of the vegetables I don't like, but it's like Brussels sprouts is like not everyone's favorite. I'm just like, hey, give me Brussels sprouts, give me broccoli. I'm game. Like I had when I had my steak,
asparagus is my other jam.
Like I had steak, and then side of like big chunks of broccoli and some carrots.
Hell yeah, rustic.
I don't need a baked potato. Just give me some broccoli and carrots.
I like that. Do you like asparagus?
It's all right. Have you ever had pickled asparagus?
No.
It's interesting. Actually pretty good.
That is interesting. I watched this channel where they have kids try weird shit, and then they react to it. And they had kids try fermented foods from around the world. Oh, it was super interesting. Of course, like sauerkraut is pickled, or it's pickled cabbage, so it's it's actually a fermented food.
There's like red cabbage and then regular sauerkraut. It's all interesting.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you want to go ahead and get us out of here?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the plugs or should I?
I'll let you do the plugs. You got
Okay.
this.
Well, as always, folks, you can check out Foodies Watching Movies on all the different social media sites, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram at Foodies Watching Movies or Film Foodies on Twitter. We'll try to use it more. I'm sorry, folks. That's my fault. And then we are also, obviously, if you want to hear the podcast, you got to go where you're going to hear the podcast, which is either journeyintocomics.com every other Wednesday, opposite Journey into Wrestling, until the summer. And then I think we're going to be opposite, like, Literature Podcast or something. But that's all future tripping, folks. And then, obviously, you want to go to all the different podcasting apps, whether it's iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music. As we have stated, we are on Spotify, but if you're looking for us and you're looking for Foodies Watching Movies, search for the Journey into Comics Network on all your different podcasting apps, and you can find us on there, like I said, every other Wednesday. Or alternately, you can go to patreon.com/Journey into Comics, give us $1. You get early access to every episode as soon as it's done. This episode, as soon as I'm done doing it right now, it's going up on Patreon tonight, which is a day before it's going to go live for all you other motherfuckers. And then you're going to be like, oh, man, I could have heard Foodies a day earlier and been in the know and what have you. Or you can give us $3. And here's the cool thing. If you give us $3, you get exclusive content. Right now we're doing the Road to Infinity War. AP, we're almost up. Here soon.
I know.
March, what's the date? March 14th, I think it is.
Yeah, so I think before our Oscars episode, I think we're going to get together and do that.
Yeah, so it's we're going to be doing Age of Ultron, which is one of my favorite MCU movies, actually. I have a lot of love for that movie.
First Ulysses Claw.
Yes, it is. It's actually where he loses his hand.
I know, that's interesting.
Super interesting.
Oh, Black Panther.
Oh, man, that movie was great.
No, you have to watch now. You need to watch Mudbound.
Mudbound.
On Netflix. Mudbound on Netflix. Because actually, the cinematographer for Mudbound is the same as Black Panther.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
that's
she's
interesting.
She's nominated for Mudbound. So
you said Black Panther, now there's a cat on your fridge. That was awesome to see happen.
Black Panther.
You were like Black Panther, and his black and white kitty cat or she's calico. It looks like maybe. Wow, she looks like Ami, but with whiter feet. That's weird.
You'll see him next week.
Oh, that's super cool! I can't wait to meet your kitty cat. It's going to be a great time, bro. I'm so excited for our Oscars episode. But as always, we were saying, folks, check us out on all the different places you can. This has been episode 13 of season 2 of Foodies Watching Movies. I have been your host, Nate, alongside of
Andrew Poor.
And we will see you guys in a couple weeks for the Oscars. Later. Woo-hoo.